As the leader of the Booner Pack, I lead from the front.
All right, boys. Lock in.
It's our core foundation, man. Grit.
I'm fired up. I'm fired the up, boys.
It's bumping right now. It's got my juice pumping, boys.
Welcome to Crunch Time Sports with Jeff and Booner. It's Tuesday, October 14th. We are back with more stuff going on with the Lions in the Lions world. You know, they're signing free agents. They're updating, like Dan Campbell's updating the fan base on injuries, which are massive. We're another day removed from that Chiefs game. We got Jeremy Reisman joining the show as well. Cannot wait to talk to him. Covers the Lions for Pride of Detroit. He'll join us later in the first hour. Booner, how are you doing? You got a coffee? You ready to go? I can already see it. How are you?
Yeah, I got a coffee. I feel good. It's a beautiful day. Beautiful night now. It's dark outside. It's starting. This is the worst time of the year because it starts getting dark really early, which I hate it. I like this time of year, the fall, Jeff. I hate the sunlight. Well, I love the sunlight. I hate the dark. Sorry.
Yeah.
That was confusing.
Yeah, I
you guys see what I'm getting. Yeah, you
yeah, I get what you're saying. It is that time of the year. You know,
yeah.
I get that.
I get more tired at night when it's dark out, so I had to drink some coffee to, to be a little. Yeah, I got to be a little juiced here. I can't just be sitting here. I got to be ready to go. Which I'm ready to roll. There's a lot of things we're talking about today. I'm pumped up. You want to know what I'm more pumped up to talk about today? The thing I'm most excited about: college football.
Yeah, we'll talk some college football.
That's why I don't know why I've been thinking about this for the last 3 days. I'm so we need to have a conversation. I'm really excited about that. I don't know why.
Yeah, James Franklin fired. You got you got Michigan State, Michigan, kind of at a crossroad with their head coach.
Yeah.
See.
Do you see all this Sherrone Moore stuff going around the internet right now?
Yeah.
Man showed up in a Carhartt jacket and says, "I'm wearing it because it's time to get back to work." What are you talking about, dude?
Yeah, it's a cornballish. It's cornball.
It's the worst. You see, and then people start doing photoshops and edits and putting like what was the one I saw? I saw him in a construction worker outfit. What was the other one that I saw? Oh no, I can't remember. Oh, I showed it to someone today. I don't know. The photoshops of Sherrone Moore.
That's bad.
Might be some of the best I've ever seen.
Yeah, that's bad. I'll just and then you see Klotz.
Here's one with an astronaut outfit. Fire! Oh, dude, can I pull this up for you real quick?
Yeah, let me see this before we get started. Let me see this.
Dude, this is unreal.
Oh my!
Oh, dude, the astronaut, and then this is the best one. The one I saw, the firefighter one. Oh, dude, that's unreal. That is
your head coach, man. I don't know what's going on.
I'm not. Yeah, I don't know, man.
Maybe not for that long. We'll see.
We'll talk about it tonight.
Yeah, well, last night the Bears ended up winning off a Jake Moody. Speaking of Michigan, a field goal to beat the Commanders. So the Bears, they're now 3-2. I don't know how long that's going to last, but they are above 500 for the time being. So and you have the Packers 3-1-1, Bears 3-2, Lions 4-2, and then the Vikings are kind of just figuring it out. We'll see what happens with them.
I would expect, Jeff, in the world that we are in, and listen, I just want you to know, preface, this is not me poking the bear. This is me being Booner content. I think we would be remiss not to bring up your tweet today, just for you to address the people. I think we have to. This is we live in a content world, don't we?
Yeah, no, I want to bring up the tweet.
I want. Listen, this is why I put this in the prep today. Is you obviously are. I'm not going to say anything about you with the Bears, but obviously you have been a big supporter of Caleb Williams, a big supporter of Ben Johnson, who's moving to the Chicago Bears. And I'll tell you what, Jeff, and I'm just being honest with you. I'm not poking the bear, but I was going to be honest with you, Jeff. It's hard for you to run from the narratives when you throw these tweets out there. That's it. And it's funny though, and I think it's just more funny in the sense of I go look at like the ratios of like likes, and it's a social media mind. I think, how did this? And I go down there and I go, this guy got almost 7,000 views. I got 9 likes, but 17 comments.
Oh, I knew what I was doing.
I know you knew what you were doing, but you're always like, I'm not the guy. I don't push and agonize it. No, you do. It's okay to say
No,
it.
I never said that. I do. I definitely do. I knew when I tweeted this, people were going to be pissed off. And here's the reason why I tweeted it. And I guess the easy way to deflect would be, well, you're a Bears fan. Okay, that's fine. Let's actually dissect the tweet, though, because it's me.
It's like a 4-letter tweet. You're like, let's dissect the tweet.
No, let's dissect it. Why did you tweet that, Jeff? Well, it's not because I'm a Bears fan. It's because yes, I have been supportive of Ben Johnson. I wasn't sitting here going, yes, he's with the Bears, but I do love Ben Johnson. I think he was going to be a good head coach. That was the take I had right when he left. And people were like, well, I know you texted, but that was a thing with Lions fans. It's like, well, he's a good coordinator, but can he be a good head coach?
Yeah.
Can he lead men? That was the biggest question with Ben. Like, can he stand in a locker room and lead men? Or is he going to be like Mike McDaniel and just fail at it completely? And I stuck to my guns. I said right into this camera, he was with Dan Campbell for years. I'm sure he's picked up a lot of leadership qualities. I don't deny that he can lead men. And the reason why I quote tweeted that tweet is because he's addressing the locker room after a win. It wasn't about the win. People are like, oh, he's celebrating the Bears win. No, I'm bringing up him talking to his team, win or loss. Dude, those guys are bought in, like over there in Chicago. They're bought into Ben. So I want to. I'm not trying to take a complete victory lap because we're only 5 games in. But I'm trying.
You can't. No, you can't yet.
I'm not. But my point is, I was told this guy was going to flame out and can't lead men, and that whole locker room is Jason Kabinding this guy. Like every word he says, like, hey, this is what we needed. They started 0-2 and they won 3 straight.
They're 3 straight.
So that was the point of the tweet. I know people are gonna like deflect and be like, "Oh, you're a Bears fan. This guy should just cover the Bears now." It's like, okay. My point of my tweet is I want all the people to be accountable that said that guy lacks every little bit of leadership qualities to be like, maybe he can lead a locker room. That's what you're seeing. He called out everybody throughout the first 5 games. He's calling out practice habits. He's calling out Caleb Williams before the season, and none of the players have dumped on him in the media. They've all stuck to their guns and have faith in him, and it's working out. So, yeah, I do. I think Chicago, maybe not this year, but I think that's a team in the NFC North, another one where it's like I think they're building something over there. I do.
Oh, yeah, that's fair. I do. And what's crazy, I don't think I was ever on the side of Ben's a bad coach either. I felt like
No, you were aligned with me.
Was always like, hey, it's going to take time with Ben, but Ben's going to figure it out. It takes time. I'm just going to say this. I'm more so shocked that, we're seeing these videos of Ben Johnson, and obviously the Jets haven't won yet, but AG out of the two is the one that hasn't been able to really lead a football room, which I thought AG as a former player. And we actually talked to me and you were always on the side of AG could be a better head coach than coordinator because he feels like he's a guy that can pull in a locker room and guys listen to his voice. And we actually haven't seen that from AG. We really haven't. Dr. Detroit just put in the chat that they have a bad team. They don't, though. Like the Jets have gotten worse with the same roster and they added pieces to it, right? Like they should not be 0-5, 0-6 or whatever they are. And they're probably going to win 1 or 2 games this year. That shouldn't be the case there in New York. They have a better team than that. They have a 5, 6, 7 win 8 team. The Bears, they're kind of over. And it is 6 games in, but I would say through 6 games, winning 3 straight, doing what they're doing, they're not winning games where they're dominating, but they're finding ways with coaching and just players playing very hard. They're finding ways to win games. So once they do get to a point to where they're able to actually control a game, the Bears team's going to be good. That's going to be a good football team. And it feels like Ben's building a good culture in Chicago through this small sliver of a, season that we've seen so far. Yeah, well, you don't see it. This is like what you saw in Detroit when Dan got here. Like they were starting to become a culture, and you're like, wait a second, there's a culture here now. Like you can feel that. Like in New York, you got Garrett Wilson screaming at AG at halftime. You got things happening. There's no culture being built.
No, that doesn't feel like it. AG, the thing I look at is, okay, the Jets are winless, but it's not even, okay, whatever. Let's take the winless out of it because that's rough. But you know what's rough? Garrett Wilson going to the media and kind of, like going against AG. Like, that to me is more of a red flag is when players are leaking stuff, like going to the media, like, yeah, I was kind of confused at the time. And Garrett Wilson on the sideline, like, you don't see that with the Bears. Like, the players aren't throwing Ben under the bus. Like, I think that's more of a red flag for Aaron Glenn, to be honest. Like, That's where I worry with Aaron. And to be honest, I don't feel bad for him because in this area, he hitched his wagon to Justin Fields. Like, they went and got Justin Fields. That's the quarterback he wanted. And because it's not working out, I can't feel bad for him.
I still think he hitched his wagon to New York, which is the hardest market in the world in any industry.
It's like, Fields is terrible. Like, and we knew that. Like, everyone knew that. He can't process. He can't process information. He can't do it. We've known that about Justin Fields. That's where it's like, I feel bad for AG because I think he's a good dude. But it's like, you made that decision. Like, you guys wanted Justin Fields, and now they're questioning him every week. Like, are you going to bench him? Are you going to bench him? Are you going to bench him? It's like, yeah, I don't blame the media for asking that, dude. He stinks. Like, Justin Fields actually stinks. I'm
very glad we brought up I had to put the Ben Johnson stuff in there.
Yeah,
we had to address it
because my ass. Like,
NFC North, and the comments were some of the funniest comments I've ever seen. I sent a couple in our group chat. People were going at you. Which, listen, I do think I think you're right. Like, people do need to see it. I just think it's the fact that you tweeted it out.
Oh, it's me. Yeah.
People definitely are going to be like, "Oh, Jeff." It's definitely been a built-up narrative, which is a funny one.
Yeah, I know, it's hilarious. It's hilarious. It's like, okay, yeah, I'm a Bears fan. We'll just go with that. That's fine.
But I mean, it is Ben Johnson, right? Like, he was here in Detroit, so it's like it is a very relevant piece of information and conversation. It really is.
Like, that's whatever. I'm glad. Yeah, at least you see some of it there. I mean,
I watched last night's game. They're going to be good. They're going to be good. Chicago's going to be good in the next 2. They're probably going to be the second best team in the NFC North in the next year or 2.
They will. I'm telling you, I just think I think it's important that they've had disaster there last year with Eberflus, and they're already kind of, you can see it starting to get the stench out this early.
Yeah.
Like, it takes like Dan Campbell to go through this with Patricia, bro. Like, when you ruin a franchise like that, it takes a year to like.
You still have all those habits. You have a lot of players that were in that regime.
Terrible habits.
That's why, look about the Dan regime and the Brad regime. How long did it take for them to kind of fully get those habits out of there? But also, think about the amount of guys that they just let go.
They had to get their guys in. Yeah,
they constantly were just releasing guys. Not like right away, but throughout the first 2 years, they slowly were working guys out. And the only guys that really stayed were like Frank Ragnow and Taylor Decker. And then there was like a couple here and there. But then, like, if you look at the team now, there's no one besides Taylor Decker that was in that regime. Graham for a little bit, maybe.
Yeah. Graham for a little bit.
But he left and came back. So I don't know that timeline.
No, I did see this on social media. Before we get to the Kendall Fuller stuff, don't worry, we'll get to it in a couple of minutes here. Can we just address, I don't even know if it's an elephant in the room, but the Lions fans out there, and I don't think our chat does this, or at least suggested this, and maybe there are people in the chat that are okay with this. CJ Gardner-Johnson got released again, by the way. He got released again. He's setting records, I believe. I mean, he's gotten released. He got traded from the Eagles. He got released from the Texans, signed with the Ravens, who have the worst secondary in football, and got released from the Ravens. Yeah. Like, you got released from a team, and their biggest need is what you play. They released
2 of the teams probably have some of the best culture in the NFL. Like, I would argue Philly. Like, people love being in Philly. Like, players love to be there.
Absolutely.
And same with Baltimore, with John Harbaugh. Like, people love to be in Baltimore. That's like a really big one. And both of those teams were like, we don't want you. And did you see his tweet as well?
He asked for his release, by the way. He's like, yeah, I mean, even if I don't know what, it's not working out over there for some
reason.
You see? Yeah, I did see his tweet. I'll pull it up.
I mean, let's just call a spade here. Can I say it? I'd read the comments to see if anyone else had the same mindset as me. No one did. It was just a bunch of fans from different teams being like, we love you. We'll take you. CJ Gardner-Johnson literally just got a text, probably. His agent just wrote up something in his notes app, sent CJ a text and said, copy and paste this and post this on your Twitter. That's all this tweet was. This was not a CJ Gardner-Johnson tweet.
Like a PR stuff.
This is literally his agent just sent him this and said, hey, copy and paste this exactly and put it on your Twitter.
Well, he said he's tweeted out today at 4, almost 5, basically. He said, I just want to take a moment to thank all the teams I've been. I thought he was retiring, by the way, when I saw this.
That's why I think he's trying to save himself because he's given himself such a bad rep around the league right now. So I think his agent's like, no teams want to sign you. Let's get some, like, we got to patch this whole situation here. And then his PR guy sent him this.
Well, he said, I just want to take a moment to thank all the teams I've been a part of. Coaches, teammates, everyone who supported me along the way. Every experience has helped me grow both on and off the field. I'm truly grateful for all the opportunities and memories. Football has always been a big part of who I am, and my passion for the game is still strong. I'm excited to keep working, improving, and continuing to play the sport I love.
He did not make this tweet. This was not CJ Gardner-Johnson.
And then someone said, hey, shout out to Poopbutt69. He translated it. He said, I talk shit to about every coach, player, and organization when I was at the top of my game, and now I am a rotational piece, and teams have realized my terrible personality isn't worth the headache. I am trying to act like I have a come to Jesus moment.
Yeah, this is just literally like someone in his circle said, hey, we really got to repair this reputation, like quick. What can we do? Oh, God.
Yeah, hashtag God's plan. Yeah, well, Lions fans,
if there
is any Lions fans that want this man, go hug a tree. I don't know what to tell you. All right.
Yeah, I'm out on him. I'm fully. I would rather run with Avonte Maddox at safety than CJ Gardner-Johnson. It's the headache.
Harper. That's who.
I don't care how good he is too. It's the headache in the locker room. It's a constant. You just don't want to deal with it, man.
No, he's not worth the trouble.
No.
That's the problem with especially this regime. I think Brad was he was still relatively new. Like he's not perfect. He's going to make some mistakes. I think CJ was one of them where he's thinking to himself like, hey, this guy, which I think makes sense. Like this guy might be a little outlandish or a little outspoken, but he'll fit in our culture. But he is one of, there are players like that where they just can't, like their personalities are too big. They're just too big of personalities. And it's
not even too, like the craziest part about this, and this is how I feel about it. I don't know if you feel differently, Jeff, or people in the chat do. What I don't like about the CJ Gardner-Johnson situation is when he left Philly to come to Detroit, he left and he started trashing Philly fans. He started trashing Philly coaches, players that he was with, right? He went at people. He came to Detroit and we embraced him. And there was the blue ski mask. We all loved it. Obviously, that ended pretty quick after you lose. You can't keep doing it if you lose. Fair. Even after that, everyone still embraced CJ Gardner-Johnson. Gets hurt. What did the city of Detroit do? Embraced CJ Gardner-Johnson. And through everything, him, at the NFC Championship game, basically waving to fans at halftime, acting like we've already won. Everything. The city embraced him. I feel like fans did, even if there was anything good or bad. And I don't think when he was actually here playing, I don't remember if there was ever actually any issues in the locker room. Like I was doing Woodward Nights with Broder at the time. And Broder obviously was in the locker room, doing interviews, and he would have nothing but good things to say about CJ Gardner-Johnson. And they would have conversations. They talked about our show. I think he tuned into our show. Like he was it felt like there was a good thing. Obviously him in the Easy situation, there was that beef, and a lot of people, may not have liked that. But when he left Detroit and he decided to leave and sign somewhere else, when he started trashing the city of Detroit and he started trashing the fans and the organization and the players and the coaches and trying to insinuate things with the front office and all this, that was when it was like, okay, you're going to do this. Like, it's not like you're just doing it once. You do that every single time. Every single time that you leave an organization, you're just going to trash their fan base, and they're like, you're burning bridges at that point, right? And he did go back to Philly, who he burned the bridge with before, it felt like. But like, I think here in Detroit, I don't think anyone would want him back here after what he did when he left. I don't think anyone would.
No, and that's the problem when you burn bridges like that. When you burn bridges like the way CJ Gardner-Johnson has done, you never know. One of those teams that you talk trash about, because every player has an ego, but his ego got the best of him, and it got to a point where now he needs a helping hand, and all the teams that could reach a hand are the teams he fucked over, essentially. So I don't know what he does. I'll say I want nothing to do with CJ Gardner-Johnson. He's not worth the headache, and he's the type of guy that will come in and try and be a leader right away. And he doesn't have this isn't a locker room. You're going to walk in and be a leader. You're just not. Like, they have guys that already have those roles, and if Brad Holmes signs him, I would be shocked. I would be completely shocked, honestly. Completely shocked. I would be shocked. So I don't think it's going to happen.
Some people in the chat are saying it's going to happen. Do we have some insiders?
Ghetto Boy Juan says he contradicted himself on Twitter. He said the Lions front office lied then on Pivot podcast. He said Dan told him Branch took his spot. Well, that's true, because Branch came in. But they don't.
Branch was a rookie. They signed CJ and they drafted Branch. Branch was just better.
Oh, right away.
Yeah. It was clear as day. And it was like, what are you supposed to do? Just start the vet because he's a vet? No, you got to start the vet player.
Yeah. Speaking of bringing in the better player. They did bring in a pretty good player. I'm fired up about who they signed today. The Lions signed free agent cornerback Kendall Fuller to their practice squad. Fuller played in 11 games in 2024 for the Miami Dolphins. He's played 9 seasons in the NFL, over 100 starts, over 16 interceptions in that stretch. He's a vet. He's 30 years old. He has a Super Bowl ring. And I tweeted something out, actually, which I do want to bring up, that I this is just the type of player he is. Let me see here. I posted it on my Twitter right here. So this is the type of player the Lions are getting, man. He's obviously productive. You look what he's done. He's very productive. But this is what his grade was in 2023 on PFF. And you can go watch the tape in that year, too. Very good. He's been a pretty consistent player. But in 2023 with the Commanders, 7th overall highest graded corner on PFF, and he was the 13th highest graded corner in coverage. So he's a guy that's going to come in. He's not an Arthur Millette. Okay. He's not an Arthur Millette, all due respect, where it's kind of just a body. Like Kendall Fuller can be a starter. He's going to compete. He could play in that nickel spot. He could play outside. He's done both in his career. And honestly, I watched a lot of tape on him today. I went back and watched that 2023 tape. I watched some of the Dolphins tape. I think he had moments. That Dolphins team was a little weird. I don't know. Their defense wasn't that good. So he had a kind of a worse year. But 2023 with the Commanders, they had a better defense. He played really well. So I think with this Lions defense, the way they're playing, I think he can thrive in this situation. They need corners. You know, they have Amik Robertson. They have Rock Ya-Sin starting on the outside. This is someone who can come in right away, compete, start, and be a contributor, bring leadership. He's a quiet, reserved guy. He's not kind of going off of what we talked about with CJ Gardner-Johnson. He's actually the complete opposite. He's a go-to-work, handle business type of dude. The Lions worked out one player, and it was Kendall Fuller today, and they brought him in on the practice squad. So this is a great signing for the Lions. He was waiting, chilling for an opportunity. This is what some guys do. Justin Simmons is doing it right now, where you just sit, guys are going to get injured, and it just so happens the Lions called him up. So I love the signing by the Lions. He's not like one of the best corners in the league, but he's a very good starting caliber corner. He's a good corner. So I like it. Good signing by the Lions, man.
I think the biggest thing, and I don't know, like the fact that I'll say this, the fact that he hasn't been on a roster to start the season up until week 7, that's obviously for any player, you could say that's a red flag. So there's obviously something going on. I don't know what that would be. And then obviously he only played in 11 games last year. I think it's a good piece, especially with when you need to patch things up, especially like when you're looking at DJ Reed out for, on IR for who knows how long. Terrion Arnold, you want to hopefully try and get him to where he doesn't have to play on Monday, and you can get him back after the bye and give him as much time as he needs. And then you just need someone out there with Amik and Rock Ya-Sin. And it feels like this is like a perfect patch for that. And I think it's just it's a no lose scenario. My guess is like me and you had the conversation pre-show about Trey Flowers. They brought him in that week, put him on the practice squad. He was playing by Sunday, and he was getting snaps here and there because some of the guys got hurt. I would have to guess that they're going to bring him in today, obviously on the practice squad. And I think he was going to suit up on Monday. I think they're going to roll with the corners of Meek, Rock Ya-Sin, and him. And that's going to be your kind of corner room there. And they're going to let him run. And it's a win-win situation. One, you have a guy to patch up, whether he's going to be a CB1 or whatever it is. As good as he. But then it's like, all right, then you win because when Terrion and DJ Reed get back, they're probably going to fill back in. Let's say if Kendall Fuller ends up actually being good and back to where he was in 2023, then you have someone to compete with those guys. Or you just have a very good rotation with the Meek, Kendall Fuller, DJ Reed, and Terrion Arnold. You actually have a legit rotation of corners. And if at the end of the day, if he ends up not working out and he's just average, a little below average because he hasn't played all year and he only played 11 last year, and maybe he's on a little decline because he is in year 10, which at that corner position, you get slower. And like it's inevitable. Yeah. You could be great skilled wise. Your body's going to slow down a little bit. And there's younger guys that are just that much better. Where I'm leaning towards that side to where it's like Kendall Fuller isn't going to be your CB1 or CB2 this year. But when you have guys injured like DJ Reed and Terrion, Kendall Fuller is a perfect guy to step in with a Rock Ya-Sin to where you do have that depth. So that's what I'm excited for. I'm glad Brad's like made a move like this to be able to patch it up, because in the past Brad's made moves, but it's like guys where you're like, who? Like what? Like Bruce Irvin? Why is Bruce Irvin? But it's like, hey, Kendall Fuller, played 11 games last year. And like you said, in 2023, he had not a really good season, but he was good. It's not like he was trash. So recently he's played well. I'm just interested to see. He is in year 10. So he's a little older, and that's not that great for corners. Like even guys like Stephon Gilmore in year 10 to 12, when he was playing with the Vikings 2 years ago, everyone was like pumped up about it. But then he's just like, hey, he's skilled. He's a vet. He knows all the ins and outs. It's just old. Like he just doesn't have that speed anymore. So I'm guessing that's why he hasn't played football, and that's why he wasn't on a roster to start the season, as he just doesn't have that, he's not young anymore.
Yeah, I don't think he's the solution, but he's not going to be a problem. Like I think he's a good patchwork.
For sure.
Like he's very solid depth for this team, and a team that needs depth so bad. And they have guys coming back, but it ain't going to be this upcoming week. I'll tell you. Yeah,
like Klotz said, keep them in zone. And the Lions have played more zone this year than they have in years past. Like a lot. I mean, you looked at it. It was like 60%. So might be a perfect position for him to come in and just be able to just like, hey, make plays, be a vet, and stay in zone or throw him out there. I don't think he's going to get a ton of snaps, but if you can rotate him, let's say with Rocky Sin over on Monday night, I think that's good because you're getting Rocky Sin. I know I like Rocky Sin, but he's not a DJ Reed or a Terrion where you can say Amik is there. Right, you could trust Amik. You're not fully in on that with Rocky Sin. Now, if you're getting him a little limited snaps, hey, Rock, you just have to focus on half of those snaps now and go out there and dominate. Now we have another guy coming in to help you.
And you have Rocky Sin in a position where if you have Kendall Fuller at CB2, you could play Rock a little bit at safety if you need him. Like now they have a little more depth.
For sure.
So they can.
I was shocked today. Were you not shocked by this? Did you watch the Dan Campbell press conference? Dan talked about the safety room, and he was like Lawrence Strickland, and then they waived him. They let him go. I was like, and maybe it is. You might be right. It might be something to where, and maybe even I don't know. Could Kendall Fuller play any other positions in the secondary?
I think maybe it's just nickel and outside. I think he's only two. He's played.
Yeah, maybe they feel like they can move some of these guys around a little bit more because Dan literally brought up Lawrence Strickland at safety today, and then within 6 hours, Lawrence Strickland was waived, and I was a little taken aback, especially with the Brian Branch situation.
Yeah, they really like Thomas Harper, I think, too. I think he's earned it. I think he gets that. It depends, obviously. You might not have Kirby and Brian. We'll see what happens. I know Dan spoke about some of the injuries, too. I have some of those clips I'll play. He spoke about Kirby, which I will play now, and then we can get into some of the other injury updates. But here's Dan Campbell and Kirby Joseph, how they're going to handle him this week.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be the same. I mean, I would say it's very much the same if it's something we feel like, first of all, he can't produce, right? I mean, that'll always go that way. How much worse are you making this injury? Is it going to make it significantly worse? You're not going to have him by the end of the year okay, well, that doesn't make sense. All right, well, what if it's, you may not make it worse, but just being a little bit better is going to help his production go way up. The production is not there, right? He's not, A, maybe he can't finish the game. B, the guy behind him would be better off, playing. So you have to weigh every one of those. And so we'll do that with Kirby. I mean, we'll reassess here. We saw the game the other day. He tried to gut through it, played most of the game. And look, it wasn't his best performance, but he'd tell you that too. He was giving us what he had, and so we'll have to reassess. Yeah.
Yeah. So Kirby's kind of on that fence. I don't know. I'm curious how the Lions handle this. I think the Brian Branch suspension, I don't think that should obviously factor into what you do with Kirby, but I wouldn't mind if he just takes a week and then you have the bye week. Because he's playing every week, dude, and he's just getting hurt every game. Like
the Brian Branch thing really hurts that, though. Like,
it does for sure. Yeah, it does. Because now if you don't have Kirby or Brian or your starting corners, like, we can talk all about the Buccaneers wide receivers. It's like you're going against second string everywhere in the second.
It's really it's like honestly just two preseason secondary and a preseason wide receiver core going at it. Yeah. May the best preseason squad win.
Yeah, it's like that's the problem they're kind of facing, and that's why, like, again, the Brian Branch thing is frustrating. They don't have Brian, but Kirby, I think they should be a little cautious with him. I do, because that knee injury, you can't play with that. That if he plays, God forbid, he plays in this game against the Bucs and really aggravates it or injures it, that could be a season ender for Kirby. Like, you mess with that knee, man. Like,
I don't know. I'll tell you what, though, with it, there's something about it that we don't know. Like, I don't know what type of knee injury it is, because the fact that Kirby Joseph could barely walk off the field, and then you saw him on the sideline, like having to essentially get carried. And then all of a sudden, 5 minutes later, he's sprinting around the field and playing again. It's like, why is he going to, it might not even be as close to serious as we think. Maybe I don't know what it is. If it's knee, you
Probably
would
just
think it's serious,
protecting
and
him.
they would have just sit him in the second half on Monday or Sunday night.
What's the what are they called? What's the Toradol injection? I think that's what they call it.
For
where
sure,
the
yeah, those
NFL
things.
players just get Toradol injections. He probably just got one right into his knee.
I've gotten 15 calls from a toll-free number, an 888 number. I don't know what to do. I've gotten 20 today. What's happening?
Trying to sell you something. That's what that is. Yeah, he definitely got that shot, Jay Hart. He definitely got that shot, man. By the way, shout out to ETN. Like the stream for the boys, man. We got Jeremy Reisman joining in about 15 minutes. He also talked about other injuries, important ones, guys that you could be getting back soon. And let's hear from Dan, because these are injuries you talked about. He clarified some of them.
Jeremy, for Terrion and Avante, any chance this week or after the bye? Is that more likely?
I think they're both probably after the bye. I do.
Marcus Davenport is eligible to come off IR this week. Is that close to happening?
I don't see that. Not yet. He's doing well. He's getting better. We like where all those guys are at. I mean, we're going to be looking pretty good at the end of November, December, which is awesome. But I don't see him being ready before the bye for sure.
Just super quickly, because we haven't asked about him in a while. Malcolm had the cleanup procedure on the ACL several months ago, put him a little bit behind Aleem. How close are you looking at with starting his clock?
Yeah, hopefully we're hoping after the bye we can start rolling him out there a little bit, get him going.
Jeremy,
So there you go. Updates on all the secondary players. Malcolm Rodriguez, Davenport. He said that they're going to look way healthier November, December, but we're in October. All right. And you got to get through this Bucs game on Monday night. And then you got the bye week. Maddox, Taron Arnold after the bye week. Get them out. DJ Reed, that's later. Kirby, you got to be cautious with. And then Davenport after the bye week. Malcolm after the bye week. And Aleem McNeil, he talked about as well. Aleem, he says he does the percentages every single week, like jokingly, with Jeremy actually, which we'll talk to him about. But because Jeremy asked, and he does I think last week it was 51-49, and he's like, it might be a 58-42 this week. It might be like a 58-42. So I actually wouldn't be shocked if he plays some snaps this week, Aleem McNeil.
I think he will.
He's looked good for 2 weeks. At some point,
Yeah.
you got to give him some snaps. I don't know how they handle that, but
I think before the bye, you want to get him like his feet under him in a real game, just so he knows going into the bye, like, hey, do we need to get more in shape? What do we need to work on? Things like that. You know what I'm excited about hearing these injuries though, and I know injuries aren't exciting. Take that back. Rewind. All right. Not pumped up. Not pumped up. Maybe not the words. Okay, I don't know where I'm going with this. I don't know how to say. I'm excited that when we get back from the bye, we're going to start getting a full roster again. There we go. I didn't want to say excited for injuries.
right after, like
Not
Steve
right
said.
after, but like November. The fact that November, and obviously there's going to be other injuries that happen. It's just the NFL. It is what it is. It's not just the Lions. But the fact that guys like Rodrigo, Aleem, Marcus Davenport, DJ Reed's going to start getting back at some point. Who knows when that is? That could be November, December. Who am I missing? Terrion healthy, Branch healthy, Kirby healthy, Maddox, Taylor Decker. We could just keep going down the line here where there are guys where, you know what, luckily, knock on wood, Jeff, last year we had a million injuries. But what was the difference between injuries last year and this year?
Season ending.
Season ending. This year, it's like, hey, we just got to get through this stretch of football. And so far, they're sitting there at 4-2 through that stretch of football. You got to get through 2 more games or 1 game, and then you have your bye week, and then you have the Vikings who you should beat. And then it's like, okay, who can we get back? Who can contribute now? That's what I'm like pumped up about.
Yeah, and well, Teddy, appreciate the $2. He says, has Dan addressed the Kirby post-game tweets?
He did not.
He didn't address the post-game tweets. He did address referee. He didn't really address it, but he did address it. He just dismissed it. He's like, I'm not talking about the refs.
I think there's a world, and this is what I told people. There's a world where Dan Campbell is, I don't care. You have to still win the football game. That's why that was my whole point on Twitter and everything when people try to come at me, being like, who cares about the refs? And people are like, well, they screwed up. I don't care. Like, you think Dan Campbell's going into that room, that meeting room that they do their meetings in the next day, and he's like, we got screwed by those refs, huh? Like, no. He probably within 10 seconds of the game being over, I don't want to hear anyone talk about the refs. And that's why today when he was asked about it, he was probably like, no comment. Don't care. Moving on.
He even dismissed the Jared Goff touchdown that was called back. He's like, you know what? I don't even want to get into it. He goes, it's a touchy subject. He said, I told the guys that's on me.
I
Which
think
he's
I know.
gonna say that.
I think I know what happened.
What you got a wizard hat? What's your wizard
Well,
hat?
I think that was a rule. Like, I don't think that the refs got the rule wrong. I think there was a rule, and when I read the ref report after, it said that if you're under center, I mean, me and you talked about this, when you're under center and you go in motion as the quarterback and you're under center or whatever it was, you have to come to a complete stop after you're done in motion. Where if you're in shotgun, you don't have to come in a complete stop. That's why you see running backs not stopping, or JMO on a jet sweep not stopping, things like that. So that makes sense. And obviously, if you do watch it back, if that is the right rule, then Jared was obviously, that was an illegal motion. So that does make sense. I think what happened, and I think today, if you do watch the thing, Dan obviously was like, he's like, that's a sore spot for me. And he was like, I don't want to talk about it. And then he goes, I take full blame. We told the players what to do. They executed what we told them. And then Dan was like, again, I take full responsibility for that. I think maybe there's a world Dan and they didn't fully understand that. And then obviously pregame, if people don't know this, every single trick play that you might have in your bag and you might run in that game, they obviously show. Dan Campbell sits in a room with the refs and he shows them trick plays and he lets them know this is what's going to happen if we do run these. He said he didn't communicate that part with the refs. That was essentially what Dan said. So Dan wasn't under full awareness of that situation as well. And he said, I didn't break that down fully to the refs. So he was like, that's why he was like, that is on me. Like, I should have known that. So yeah, I think Dan at the end of the day was like, he messed that up, which he admitted to doing it today, essentially. Now I still think there's people who are going to take it and be like, well, he didn't want to talk about it because New York actually called it in and they shouldn't have been able to. No. I think that it was actually a messed up and they just didn't realize that was part of the rule. That's it
makes sense. It makes sense. I think that's probably the greatest play call ever in this regime that didn't count. Like, that's like the best play call that didn't count in this regime ever.
I hope I broke that down good enough.
Yeah. No, I think, Wait. Tom says, I don't know if is this true? Tony Dungy watched the Lions practice all
There it is then.
The Lions ran that trick play in practice. And
I think that's why Dan said it's on me, because I think they taught it maybe potentially the wrong way then, if that's real. And then when he broke it down to the refs, he must not have told the ref, hey, Jared's going to be under center and not in shotgun. So I bet you if he would have told them under center and he would have specified exactly that, then they probably would have been like, can't do that. Not good.
Yeah. No, I think it makes sense. I mean, it's unfortunate. Again, we're going to play the revisionist history, hindsight 2020. You making these mistakes early in the season, they're not going to do this shit again. It is what it is. Lukas Klotz says, the Lions fans blaming the refs are softer than Caleb Williams' makeup brush. Okay. Well, Lukas Klotz chimes in there. Before we get Jeremy on in the next couple of minutes, I got to tell you about our friends over at Comer and Cross. So allow me to do that, because our friends over at Comer and Cross always show up and they're always reliable. All right. And you should call them 248-834-3488. You are definitely tired and sick of staring at your crack-stained garage floor. So give them a call right now during their sale they got going on. They're offering 12 months same as cash or $500 in savings. They'll transform your patio, your pool deck, your basement, even your driveway, and they move the stuff out for you. So call them, 248-834-3488, or you can book your free estimate at comercross.com. They repair your cracks and pits before applying your stunning new floor, guaranteed. They never crack. Their concrete floors never crack, chip, or peel like epoxy or paint. So give them a call, 248-834-3488. Shout out to our friends over at Comer and Cross. Jeremy Reisman joining in the next couple of minutes. Shout out to him.
Ran from that Caleb comment. I had a joke with it, and you just completely just.
What do you?
Well, the joke's over with. It was like one of those moments, like a punchline after Klotz's thing, but I can't hit it anymore. It just will sound a little. I was going to say Caleb Williams doesn't have a makeup brush because he just goes to those. What are the people that Angel Reese's nails text?
Well, he did have his nails on the sideline. I actually easy tweeted out. He got ratio 2. It's funny. I thought it was hilarious. He tweeted out something while the Commanders were making a comeback, and he said Jane Daniels leading a comeback trial. Caleb's on the sideline with his nails painted, and then the Bears won. So all these Bears fans are just under Easy's Twitter, just like cooking him. So yeah, it's hilarious. I'll never get mad. I mean, dude, you can make fun of Caleb Williams all you want. I don't give a shit. It's funny. Klotz
Sure.
especially. Klotzy's gonna do it. Makeup brush. I mean, what this guy. Full Slate Farm says that's Jeff's quarterback. Klotz, don't hurt his feelings. Okay. All right. I mean, what are we doing? Streams only says if Jaden did fumble like a bum, easy dub, or didn't fumble, easy dub. Well,
No, he did fumble though, so you can't really.
yeah, I'll say we can do that.
Happen.
His Lions games, we can probably do that for too. Which we do have our top 10 NFL teams later. We got our top 10 lists, top 10 Tuesday. So later in the show, we'll give out our top 10 teams. We'll see who made it, where the Lions are, how much they slid, how much they, other teams rose. We'll see. We will see with that.
Top 10's so tough in these moments too, because there's just I don't know. I'm getting tired of doing top 10s, but we all do it. Every everyone in the media does it. So I guess we're a part of that, and I will always do my top 10, Jeff. Sometimes it's really difficult though.
Yeah, a lot of teams have similar records. This might be the most wide open NFL in the last couple of years. It is so wide open. Like the favorites are losing to bad teams. Not bad, but inferior teams.
Yeah.
Like the Bills favorites, they lost. I mean,
did you see both of our top 10s?
Yeah.
Me and you every week so far this year have had similar top 10s, maybe just like one or two spots flipped. Is it like that again today?
I have a team you don't, and we have a couple different like ranking, like different. I think
it's a team that I don't.
Yeah,
I struggled to do 10. There was 10. There was a couple. I guess there was a couple.
It's close. That back half is kind of tricky. I'm not gonna
10 and 11. I think there's two teams at 10 and 11. I'll say this: they're in the same division. I didn't know who to put in, and I just went off who had the better win this last week. That's what I did.
You got to do that. And it's tough because my top 10 list, I factor in head to head, but it's part of it. Like, I think head to head's part. Like, for example, I'm not going to have the Patriots over the Bills.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I think there's a world with top 10. It's like who played the best that week? Like, who is the best team in that week today? Like, I know when Klotz is in the chat, like when he does it, he goes, who's going to be good? Like, I just do like, who was the top 10 teams on Sunday? Or you know what I'm saying. I think you do.
I do.
I hope you understand.
No, I do. It's all right.
All right.
Well, I mean, maybe we'll see what.
It's hard to break that down, and we're talking college football too, which I can't wait for that, man. Pumped up.
We'll get into it. We got our guest joining. All right, covers the Detroit Lions for Pride of Detroit. Jeremy, he's got his hat on too, so we're gonna welcome him in. He's doing some great stuff. Jeremy, how are we doing, my friend?
I'm good, fellas. How are you guys doing?
Jeremy, listen. I got a lot of things I got to ask you here. One of them being some of the injury updates, and Dan Campbell has the little bit going on with you with Liam McNeil, how he's giving out percentages every damn week, and it seems like we're getting an uptick in the percentage. I think he said 58-42 today potentially. What's the kind of the vibe you get? We'll start with Liam, that there is maybe a chance. He's looked really good. Dan Campbell said in practice last 2 weeks, at least stringing along, he looks healthy, back to essentially full strength. What's the feeling you get that you might see a little Liam McNeil right before the bye week, going into that bye week? Or do you think it's more likely they'll probably be more safe with him?
I mean, I think they'll be safe with him, but I feel like this is the week that we see him for the first time. You know, there were some beat writers who went up to him last week, and it kind of sort of like really hinted that this was the week they were always kind of aiming for. And I still think it's going to be around like the 20 snap maximum type of thing with him. But they like giving their guys a little bit of a ramp up period. And, if you were to ask Kelvin Shepherd, he was ready week 1. He was ready to go out there as soon as they put him out there on the practice field. But I think generally speaking, 2 weeks is usually enough time for them to kind of get their feet wet. And I think this is a week that we do see him.
Jeremy, let's stick on the defense here real quick, because obviously there's all the injuries, and versus the Chiefs, they give up 30 points. What are your thoughts on this secondary, especially the corner room? They brought Fuller in today, and it seems like they're patching things up until guys get healthy. What's your confidence level? I guess over the next 3 or 4 weeks that they're going to be able to keep this thing intact especially too, like when you see in a couple weeks, you got the Eagles, obviously Tampa's out without a lot of different pieces, but Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison coming off the bye. What's the confidence level with some of these guys that they got in here right now?
Yeah, I mean, we're going to find out in a hurry, right? I think you saw last week against the Chiefs, or just a couple days ago against the Chiefs, that they played a little bit of a ball game that they're not used to. They played a lot of zone. It seemed like their main goal was to not get beaten over the top, which is understandable, right? Patrick Mahomes is capable of doing that. He's connected on a lot of long balls this year. And so they kind of chose death by 1,000 paper cuts rather than the big play. And unfortunately, Patrick Mahomes was more than willing to do that. We saw some issues with tackling and things like that. So they just weren't really playing the kind of defense that I think they want to. And I think that might have to continue, right? It's tough to trust the guys on the outside. Maybe Kendall Fuller does provide a little bit of a spark. He's actually played a lot of good ball recently. Kind of surprised that he lasted as long as he did in free agency. Maybe he was looking for the right opportunity. We'll see how quickly he can, really get going here too. But now when you're talking, Brian Branch is currently suspended. We'll see if he wins his appeal. You're talking Kirby Joseph, a guy that they might decide sit a couple weeks here while he heals. Now it feels like you have to play even more conservatively defensively. You have to play more safe, not get beat over the top, because your two playmaking safeties might not be in this game. So I don't know how long all that's going to last. I do get the sense that the safeties will be back after the bye. Do get the sense that maybe DJ Reed and Terrion Arnold will be back a week or two after the bye, but they're kind of going to have to hold on here for a couple weeks, and it could be a challenge, and it could force them to kind of play the kind of ball that they don't really want to, but they might have to.
Hey, real quick too, Jeremy. Real quick, Jeff. The Kirby situation with the knee. Do you know how is there any sense of how serious that is? Because I thought it was really weird. I talked about it on the show today, where he goes down in the game and he barely could walk off the field and barely could walk on the sideline. Obviously, they could probably shoot him up with some stuff to get back out there. But if it's any serious, it's still why would they throw him back out there if it's that serious? Do you guys have any idea of what's going on with that knee?
There's no official diagnosis out there. Kirby's kind of been a little skirmish with the media. He talked to the media after the game, but if you've seen videos of that, he was packing up during the entire thing. He did not really want to be there. He did not want to talk. And I just get the sense that he's going through a lot, both physically and emotionally right now with everything he's dealing with. This is a knee injury that assuming it's the same knee injury, it's something he's been dealing with since training camp. And it just feels like it's reached a little bit of a fever pitch. And Dan talked about it today and kind of sounded like, to me, they are going to make sure two things. One, that he's able to play at his best ability out there. They're not going to put him out there if he's not going to be at his best ability. And two, they're not going to put him out there if it's going to risk any sort of long-term thing. And Dan even admitted Kirby wasn't at his best on Sunday, and he didn't look like himself. He wasn't tackling like himself. And so given that the bye week is next week, I get kind of a sense, just kind of an intuition more so than an official report or anything like that they might give him these 2 weeks here to get better, to feel better, to get that time like they've been doing with Decker, to just rest it. Let him get ahead of his rehab here so that when the second half of the season comes here, he'll be in a better place.
Yeah, Jeremy, I have to ask you now that the Chiefs game's over, what is kind of your big takeaway from that game? Just in terms, because I know the big thing people will go to is referees. Obviously, it's the Chiefs. It's like the Patriots back in the day. Whenever they win, it's because of referees. What was your takeaway? Why the Lions lost that game? And then after, could you kind of give your take on this Brian Branch situation now that he's suspended, kind of how he handled that at the end of the game?
Yeah, I starting with why they lost that game. I think part of it is exactly what I was saying before, where it just felt like they weren't playing their game defensively. They were allowing the Chiefs to just complete as much as they want over the middle, short area stuff, which is something the Chiefs are really good at. And that would have been a great game plan had the Lions been tackling well. PFF credited them with 10 missed tackles in that game, and sometimes rewatching that game, it felt like it probably could have been more. And so defensively, I think it was just that they weren't capitalizing on opportunities to get off the field. They weren't tackling well, and Mahomes was just kind of picking their defense apart when they're playing so much zone. The linebackers aren't at their best when they're playing zone. They're actually a much better man coverage team, but because they were compensating for the perimeter defenders, they had to rely on that, and it just didn't work. Offensively speaking, there was a lot going on there. They had a lot of really good drives. through the first half, it seemed like they were really in control of that entire game until the Amon-Ra drop, and everything kind of changed after that. The offense dried up for a little bit. They had to, because the defense was giving up a lot of yards and a lot of points, they had to change their strategy offensively, and they had to go away from the run game. They had to go away from David Montgomery, and that's just not who they are offensively either. So it felt like they just weren't playing the kind of game that they wanted to on either side of the ball. And, they still were at a 3-point game in the fourth quarter. So I think that actually speaks to how talented of a football team they are, that they can, compete with a really good football team, even when they're playing out of their comfort zone. As for Brian Branch, I mean, I don't know what to say. I'm not surprised that he got suspended. He has a little bit of a reputation at this point, and it's not just all the fines. It's some of the emotional outbursts, I guess is the best way to put it, whether it's the double middle fingers in Lambeau a couple of years ago, or throwing a helmet earlier this year in Lambeau as well. There's clearly an emotional impact that's affecting his game, affecting his temperament. And it's really strange, because if you ever talk to him, if you ever see any of his locker room sessions, he's like the most soft-spoken, sensitive sounding guy. And then some sort of flip switches when he's out there, where it just seems like he sees red that time. And so I don't suspect he'll win his appeal. I'd be surprised if he wins his appeal. And, it's something that I don't think anyone other than himself has anything to blame. You can claim foul about the refs. You can claim foul about, other slaps that weren't suspended. But when you combine this happening after the game with his reputation, I think this was expected by me at least.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, Jeremy. So I have to bring this up. I went in today. I was interested to see, because I did see a lot of the people putting out there, hey, D-Mont only had 4 carries. Obviously, like you said, they went away from the run. But 4 carries, no matter what, with D-Mont still seems a little like an alarming number. So I went and looked at some of his numbers versus other guys. I put a tweet out there. Obviously, everyone could take it with a grain of salt, but I compared him to Saquon this year. And with essentially 30, 40 less carries, every number is better than Saquon Barkley. What are your thoughts here, hearing things like that? And it's like, hey, why isn't D-Mont getting more involved? And I know Dan was asked about that today, but It seems like, at least on my end, it's like, hey, you have to get back. Something Jeff and I have brought up was getting back to like last year, how you're pounding the rock with D-Mont and then opening it up for Jameer. Do you get a sense of that as well, that they might need to kind of start going back to that? Or do you think they need to just keep doing what they're doing and try and fit D-Mont kind of into those spots a little bit more?
Yeah, no, at times on Sunday, it almost felt like they were just trying to prove that the backs are interchangeable. Like, you have Jahmyr Gibbs in on 3rd and 1, not because it's best for your football team, but because you want to prove that he can be a between the tackles runner too. And he can be, don't get me wrong, but it's not necessarily best for your football team. And I understand when you have Jahmyr out there on a 3rd and short, it makes you a little bit more unpredictable, because he can go out of the backfield and catch the ball. He can pass protect. He can run between the tackles. Dave Montgomery can also do all those things as well. Maybe not as good of a pass catcher. So I at times it did feel to me like they were being a little bit too cutesy with their running back usage and not doing what's best. I mean, the very first drive of the game, right? It's 4th and inches here, and you're running a trick play rather than just saying, hey, Dave Montgomery, go break 1 tackle and score a touchdown. Something he did. I mean, how many touchdowns did he score a couple of years ago? 12, 13, 14, whatever it was. Yep. It seems like, you can avoid all this weird controversy about who should be in motion, whether Jared Goff is considered a quarterback or a receiver, and whether he needs to stop in motion. Just run Demo. Just get him up the middle. It does feel like they've gotten away from that identity a little bit. Now, I do think sometimes fans are like, let's just do the opposite thing of what we're currently doing, because what we're currently doing isn't working. Because, what was the narratives when Dave Montgomery was getting all these carries early in Jahmyr Gibbs' career? It's like, you drafted this guy 1st overall. Why aren't you giving him 30 carries a game? And then, now it's starting to finally lean towards Jahmyr, and now we're complaining that Demo's not getting enough carries. So I get both ways here a little bit. And I think without a doubt, they want more balance than they've been getting. I mean, Dan Campbell said as much this game, but I still think this team believes Jahmyr Gibbs is the one that should be getting more carries. And I wouldn't say 2-1, but probably, we're talking 65-35%, something like that.
Yeah, well, Jeremy, I did want to ask you about this Buccaneers game. They are playing. I mean, they're on fire right now with all the injuries. Baker, I think, is the front runner for MVP. He's finding ways to win games, and they always play the Lions very tough. I mean, these games are always kind of lower scoring defensive games. Todd Bowles, Dan Campbell. It's always a chess match. What's kind of your takeaways from what the Bucs have been able to do this year? How they look, and the NFC is relatively wide open, but the Bucs just seem to be handling these injuries pretty seamless. What kind of problems do you see them posing for the Lions and vice versa this upcoming Monday night game against them?
Yeah, I think it's, I'm still kind of digging into some of the numbers and things like that with Tampa, but I think what sticks out is exactly what you're saying is they have gone through so many injuries offensively, 2 or 3 guys on the starting offensive line, basically their entire wide receiving core. And you look at the job that Baker Mayfield has done it's absolutely incredible. The fact that offense is still considered one of the top offenses in the league with all of that is a credit to him, is a credit to the coaching staff. But as always, this early in the season, you can poke a lot of holes in pretty much every team. I don't think there is a dominant, clear number one team in the NFL. The Bucs certainly have a case, but up until this past week, their first 4 wins all included the game-winning score in the final minute of the game. So they haven't exactly been blowing the doors off teams. If you're scoring in the final minute of the game, I consider that kind of a coin flip game. If you look at a team's record in one-score games from year to year, there's typically no correlation. I'm not saying it's completely random because there is a skill to winning close games, but it's a little bit more random than I think we tend to give it credit for. And so they could very easily be a 4-2 team or a 2-4 team or a 3-3 team based on kind of how close each match has been. But I don't want to lose sight of that being a really decent football team, with the fact that they're dealing with all those injuries. I do think defensively there's a little bit of a vulnerability there. They're not really up to the normal Todd Bowles standard. If you look at someone like their rankings, DVOA, points allowed, things like that, they're really more middle of the pack than top 10. So it could actually be, it wouldn't surprise me if this was maybe a little bit more of a shootout, a little bit of a departure of how we've seen these games play out, because obviously the Lions are hurting on the back end as well. So it'll be really interesting to see how it plays out, and we'll see how kind of the injury game plays with both of them. Maybe the Bucs get Mike Evans back this week, but it sounds like they're going to be missing a couple other guys. So early in the week, it's hard to tell, but I do think this is definitely going to be a competitive and a must-see game. And ESPN kind of cashed in after what I think some kind of so-so matchups on Monday Night Football. I think this is going to be a premier one.
Hey, thoughts on Taylor Decker, Jeremy? Do you think that we see him again? We had to take on, at least I had thrown it out there, and me and Jeff were on the same kind of mindset. We actually said, sit Taylor Decker, let him sit for the next 4 weeks and get by, because we would rather have him in the second half of the season and him to hit that shoulder, whatever it's going on, let that thing heal up and be fully healthy for a playoff run. Do you think that that's their mindset now, or do you think they just they're going to try and get him back here, or give him some time after the bye?
Yeah, this is another one where you're kind of like reading through the tea leaves of some individual conversations he's had with some beat writers across the room, and it does feel like they're actually targeting him to play this week. Again, that's nothing set in stone, and I think you always have to kind of wait and see how things feel as they do as you progress through the week. But I do think that 2-week break is going to be enough for him to come back, especially when you know that you play in this game, you're going to have another 2 weeks before you have to play again. I'm with you guys, though. Like, if there's any question whatsoever, I think this team can afford to wait 2 more weeks, and I think Decker could probably benefit from 2 more weeks. But at the same time, if you know Taylor Decker, he is chomping at the bit to get out there. I know he absolutely hates missing games. It's probably been hard, because they ruled him out on Saturday. I think the intuition there is that they kept him home, which almost feels to me like, if we put you on that plane to Kansas City, we're not going to be able to keep you off the field. So you just stay home and avoid the temptation entirely. So I think there's a good chance he does play this week, just knowing that they have that extra weekend on the back end for him to fully recover before Minnesota out of the bye.
Jeremy, before we get you out of here, can I ask you, who the hell is Thomas Harper? And why do I like this guy? All right. He came into the game and had the pass deflection. It was like seamless. The guy can just play ball. I know he played with the Raiders last year, and I don't know, for whatever reason, they just can't identify talent. He seems to be a pretty good player that the Lions, they brought in, they seem to really like him. Is that someone that you're probably going to hear a little more about as the season goes on, especially if there are injuries, that he could play in that safety spot? Because I think they found a stud there, I think, in Thomas Harper. I like him a lot.
It's certainly someone you're going to hear a lot of this week because I fully intend on him starting this week, whether it's for Branch or for Kirby or for both. If both don't play, I think he's definitely going to play. And yeah, it was very interesting when they added him. I don't know, it's been a month or two since they added him to the roster. When they added him, because you look at some of the stats from his rookie season, you're like, okay, like he did some promising things for the Raiders. And now obviously the Raiders went through a little bit of a transition this offseason with a new coaching staff and things like that. But anytime you get a guy who just doesn't fit a new regime, I think that can be beneficial. That could be something that you could qualify as a steal, just because it's a talented guy whose only crime of getting cut was that he didn't fit with the new regime, which is something he didn't have any power over. He's also a guy that played a lot of special teams. So, and yeah, I think you like him because he's literally the only guy who got a pass breakup on Sunday for the Lions. He's the only one who got his hands on the ball, and it came in a critical moment early in the game where, it's a 4th down stop. It's huge. So, Dan gave him some more credit today. He said he really liked what he saw in the limited snaps. And so I think you're going to see him play a full slate of snaps this week against Baker Mayfield. And so he has very much another opportunity to prove that the spotlight isn't too big for him. And considering he's only 24, he's about to turn 25 in a month here. You have to wonder if maybe the Lions got themselves a third safety, which is something really this roster had kind of been missing. They have someone like Rock Ya-Sin, who's a corner / nickel / safety, but they don't really have a prime backup safety that they can trust. And I'm starting to think Thomas Harper might be that guy. Of course, there's a lot for him to prove, but in the meantime, I fully expect him to start this game. And depending on how Kirby rebounds, depending on, how Branch, if Branch stays healthy, he's a guy that was battling an ankle injury too. So, he's a guy that I think is going to stay on this 53 for the rest of the year and will get his turn in spots, assuming that, they'll need him at some point.
Yeah, big Thomas Harper guy now, Jeremy. I just found that out this Sunday night. Jeremy, we appreciate you. Jeremy Reisman, Detroit Online. Follow him on X. Check him out, prideofdetroit.com. They're doing great stuff. We'll talk to you in the future, Jeremy. Good luck next Monday night.
Sounds good, fellas. Yeah.
There you go.
Appreciate
Jeremy
it.
Reisman talking to the fellas here, chopping it up. We got to get to the Buccaneers game, which we'll talk about in a second. But before we do that, I have to tell you about our friends over at Sleeper Fantasy. So allow me to do that because Sleeper has a deal going on, free $20 entry, along with the get 100% match up to $100 if you use the code CT Sports. And you guys should know Sleeper. It's one of the fastest organically growing fantasy platforms in the entire world. Millions and millions and millions of active users. That's what they got, while still earning some of the highest levels of engagement per user in the industry. They also have Sleeper Picks, which I'm coming out with my picks later in the week, so stay tuned for that. It's a real money product that connects friends over picks. You choose 2 to 8 of your favorite players from pregame, live, or across different sports. Pick more or less than the predicted stats on Sleeper. You can get up to 1,000x payouts. Share with your friends. Get rewarded together. Always remember to gamble responsibly. And like I said, CT Sports is the code. Get 100% match up to $100. Shout out to them for sponsoring, as always.
What did I miss? Phil said, did Booner get fired?
Yes.
What happened? I went to go
now.
get some water.
Flathead Frank Shorts. He says, we miss McNeil more than it seems. He is a dog. Tell you what, he'll help that run defense. He'll help that pass rush. I'm fired up. And Dan actually spoke about the game against the Bucs this week, and they always have some great games. I know Jeremy talked about it could be potentially a shootout, but let's hear from Dan Campbell what he had to say about this team, because he spoke about it today in his press conference. Let's take a listen.
They're playing hot football. It's a very good team. Baker is, you guys know, I got a lot of respect for Baker Mayfield, the way he plays, his leadership, his ability to push the ball down the field, make plays with his legs. I just think he's playing at a high level, So, he's a guy that gives them a chance. Anytime they're in a game, they play really good defense. They got a good old line. Like those guys they play hard. They're physical. They're tough. They have a run game. They got a good teams unit. So it's a good team. It's a really good team.
Yep. I mean, he's not saying anything that we don't already know about this Buccaneers team, dude. They're a really good team. And I'm sorry. I know we talked about it yesterday, Booner. I know they got you playing wide receiver out there. All right. They got me and you lining up. And all due respect to Tez Johnson and Cameron. What's his name? Cam
Johnson.
Cam Johnson.
I
Cameron
don't
Johnson,
actually know. Yeah.
who just played a game this week and had a 34-yard catch for a touchdown. So these guys are coming out of nowhere, to be honest, who they have. And it speaks more about what Baker's doing because he's the MVP. He's got 1 interception on the season, 12 touchdowns. He's top 5 in multiple categories. Like they're at a point, I think Baker's kind of getting to a point where he's just in that caliber of quarterback to where they can play with a bunch of, third stringers, and they're going to figure out how to put up 20 points. I think they're going to score at least 20 points in this game, at least around that number. Like, I don't think this is going to be a game where it's like the Lions can win, 27-14 or something like that. I think the Bucs have been scoring against pretty much every team. It's just really what this Lions offense does, I think, against this Bucs defense, which is a good matchup. But I think the Lions bounce back from last week. They're going to score more than 17. I'll tell you that against this Bucs defense. There's no way they go back-to-back games under 20 points. I will say that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not. It's gonna be a fun game. I'm excited. I said it yesterday. I'm gonna probably say it today. I'm gonna say it Wednesday. I'm gonna say it Thursday. I'm gonna say it Friday. I'm gonna say it Monday again. Like, this Lions offense is gonna have to win the football game. Like, it's bottom line at the end of the day. And the defense is beat up. You got guys like Harper who is going to be able to play, and obviously Jeremy's high on him. You're high on him, but Baker Mayfield's playing at an MVP level no matter who he's throwing the ball to. So it's going to be a game where you offensively have to score 30 plus on a good defense. I know a lot of people think, oh, you can't put 30 plus on the Bucs defense. This offense can, and they will, and they have to if they want to win. So that's what it's going to be.
Didn't you have an MVP kind of matchup a little bit? Jared Goff, Baker Mayfield. Like, I think the storyline of this game is going to be the quarterbacks for sure. Because you look at the MVP race right now, Baker, I think if Baker beats the Lions with all the injuries and he plays well, this could be a big statement game on the road for his MVP race. So, and if Jared Goff balls out and they beat the Bucs, it's going to give him points in this MVP race. I think that's going to be the biggest storyline of this game. It's not what the offense does. It's about what Jared Goff does. It's about what Baker Mayfield does. That's going to be what it's about, in my opinion. So I think it's going to come down to quarterback play. You mentioned the offense. Like, it's going to be that was the storyline of last week. It was Jared Goff and Mahomes. This week, I'm telling you, MVP candidate front runner Baker and a guy in Jared who's balling this year. He's got good stats, and they're 4-2. And if they can beat the Bucs, the hottest team right now in the NFL, number 1 team in the NFC, I'm telling you, that's how you get style points to be an MVP candidate for sure.
Yeah,
it's a big one for both.
It's a head-to-head matchup, essentially. MVP. It was just like last week with Mahomes and Jared, and Mahomes won the battle. Jared didn't play bad, but Mahomes is the one that won the battle. You have to win the game, and you have to have the stats to go with it. And I think in prime time, like you said, Monday night, that's going to be what it is. It's an MVP battle for the world to see. It is a doubleheader of an NFL game, but you're essentially going to be on a lone game because it's a 7 and a 10 o'clock game. So,
yeah, like Steve Wallace says, don't get cute with the offense. You get to the one run with Monty. Yeah, just like Jeremy said, we say don't get cute, but when they do a trick play, we love it. So it's like, I think we only say that when it doesn't work. If Jared Goff catches that touchdown, we're probably like freaking out. I mean, it just depends. You don't want to do a bunch of trick plays. I agree with you. You want to get back to the basics. Those trick plays should come out in like must-score territory, where you're like,
I think Jeremy was right. Like, just not running the ball with David Montgomery
on the 1 yard line is
and it's not like it's a wasted play because you're not doing that at the 40-yard line and letting Jared run out there and run for it. Like, that is a goal line call, like that Jared Goff throw. They did it with Amon-Ra last year. But you are just trying to do a little too much, where, again, like you said, if it works, you love it. If it doesn't, you're like, what's going on? So it's a give or take.
Yeah, ETN says if Baker wins this game, he's the runaway favorite. I agree with that.
I wouldn't say a runaway. We're week 7. He's the favorite. He's already the favorite.
He would separate himself even more.
He would be, a little bit more. Yeah, I'd still think like runaway. Like, if Josh Allen starts to put a couple good weeks together, Josh Allen's able to run away from it way more because Josh Allen does way more than Baker. Baker does a lot, but that's just my opinion. That's where I don't run away in week 7 is. That's
no,
like
I don't
Jeff
think
calling
run away,
the
but I
division
think
in
it's
week
gonna,
3.
if Baker wins this game, it's going to be hard. It's like Baker would have to like implode for someone to catch him. because he would have wins against. He would have big wins. He's been.
But again, it's week 7. You're not even
I
halfway
get it,
through the year.
I know.
I don't think it's you don't. If this was, let's say Baker was in the lead for the MVP, and this game was week 13, week 14, and he puts a performance up and he does well, then I would say, okay, now he's like a runaway lead favorite. But the fact that it's week 7, like anyone can do anything in that time. Like Patrick Mahomes could take this Chiefs team and the next 10 weeks and go out and win 13 games and go on a run, and Patrick Mahomes will win MVP.
Yeah, what I'm saying is I don't think he's a runaway favorite, but I think he separates himself more. Like this would be a massive win on his record.
Yeah,
to beat like prime time on the road with all the injuries, because that's the thing. If it's the fact, the storyline, he has injuries everywhere. Mahomes isn't dealing with that. Like Josh Allen isn't dealing with that. If he's beating the Lions with these injuries, that would be a crazy resume piece, and he balls out. You got to continue that, like you said. It's a long season. He's got to keep doing it.
Yeah. If this was week 13 and Baker was the lead to win MVP going into this week, and he balls out, I would say lock it in. It's Baker's MVP.
I think Josh Allen has the hardest hill to climb because he just lost back-to-back games to like 2. That's rough, and he played like shit last night. He did.
Yeah,
so like that's tough to bounce.
I don't know about the hardest hill. I mean, Josh Allen could go on a 4-week. He could go on a 4-game win streak, put up 250 and 100 rushing yards, and he's right back in it because he played
almost perfect football last year. I mean, he literally played pretty much perfect football and won MVP. He's had. I think Josh might be like. I think it's just one of those years. Like,
I mean, he's had 2 bad weeks of football. He was in Baker's position 2 weeks ago, and then it's in 2 weeks. That's how quick it could fall off.
Yeah, but you have back-to-back weeks.
Why? I think that's recency bias. If you like,
no, I'm just stating a fact. Like if Jared Goff plays like shit for 2 weeks, we're gonna have to talk about his MVP chance.
Yeah, but we want to put him out of it. You wouldn't be like, hey, he's done.
He's not. In my opinion, like those last 2 weeks, you lose to the Patriots and you lose to the Atlanta Falcons as favorites. Like that's tough. And
yeah, but it's not just Josh Allen. I mean, his whole team sucks.
Bad, though.
They all struggled.
No, he played bad last night, Booner. Josh played bad.
Dude, I don't know. His receivers were dropping everything. Like, what are we talking about here?
Come on.
I mean, that's the truth, though. You're acting like he was
the only player that looked good last night.
They don't use James Cook enough to help him out.
But what? So you?
I'm not saying he didn't play bad, but you're acting like he was the worst player on the field.
I didn't say that, but I'm saying.
What do you think? What do you think? Let me ask you this, just to put into context of you being like Baker's running away with it after this week. Josh Allen has the biggest hill to.
Hey, Baker's running away with it, bro. I said if
Baker wins on Monday, he's going to help his chances.
Okay, if you let me hold on, stop. If you let me finish, I said you're saying he's running away from it if he plays good this week. I said if he plays good.
I didn't say he's running away with it. Again, I didn't say that. What I said was if he wins this week, he raises his chances. I didn't say he runs away with it because I agree with you. It's week 7.
Okay. All right.
You misheard.
Settle down. Calm down over there, red face. Calm down a little bit. This is where he's poking the bear. I am poking the bear.
Keep going.
You saying Josh Allen has an uphill battle to climb. Let's go over the MVP favorites right now. What do you think the odds are?
I don't care what the odds are.
I'm asking the odds tell the story.
Because Mahomes is like second on that list.
What do you think the odds are? What do you think the odds are?
Baker should be first.
No, he's not first.
See, that's bullshit. And you
Patrick
know that.
Mahomes is first on this list.
And that's bullshit.
Who do you think is second?
Probably Josh Allen.
Josh Allen. And then Baker Mayfield.
That's not true.
No, obviously. So this isn't saying who's in the lead. That's not what this is saying. Baker Mayfield's in the lead. But this is saying essentially what the odds tell you is who they think by the end of the season has the best odds to win the award based off of schedule, based off of how they're playing and all of that. Right now, it's like, hey, if you guys in the chat, people want to call Baker Mayfield in week 7 the MVP, like he is the favorite. Like I would say if you did MVP rankings, I would put him at number 1. 100% Baker's number 1. But if I had to bet who's going to win the award and actually be like, hey, who's at the end of the season is actually going to win the award, it's going to end up being Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes. It's going to be one of the two. It's not going to be Baker. And I hope Baker wins it. I really hope Baker wins it. But it's not going to be. And being like, hey, Josh Allen has too hard of a hill to climb, it's not true. He just lost back-to-back games. Guess what that sets up for? That sets up for him to go on a 6-game win streak and go out there and ball out and the narrative completely switches and they go, well, how bad this I could hear Chris Collinsworth in Monday Night Football or Sunday Night Football in 4 weeks being like, well, how bad Josh Allen and his team were for 2 weeks versus the Patriots and the Falcons. This guy's turned everything around. This is the real MVP in the NFL. That's what's going to happen. Like it's literally setting it up for these guys to come back and win it. I would, if I had to put my money on it, it's Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen that's going to win this award.
But it's not about, it's okay. Can we agree MVP can be a popularity contest? Can we agree with that? Because if we're talking if we're talking about deserving the last 2 games from Josh Allen, he does not deserve.
Yeah, but that's why the MVP award is across 17 games, not 2 games in 2 weeks.
But so why
if he plays well, then
why did you bring up the other day then last week that Jared Goff's 5-pick game had an influence on where he ranked in the MVP
because
game?
When because throughout the season, the narrative, Jared Goff is a guy that has to play perfect to win it. He doesn't have the ground game. He doesn't have the elusive arm on the run like Josh Allen. He doesn't have that with Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow and those guys, Lamar Jackson. He doesn't have that. He is a quarterback that has to play near perfect football to be in that conversation to actually win the MVP award. We all know that. Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen are in a different world where they are more elusive. They do things differently than Jared Goff. They don't need to play perfect all 17 games to be put on that pedestal.
That's what the MVP award has been, though. Look at the MVPs. They've all pretty much played perfect all season. Aaron Rodgers, when he went back-to-back, was perfect. Lamar, perfect. Josh Allen, perfect. Like, I don't know what – you're acting like guys win the MVP.
But I promise you, these 2 weeks of Josh Allen is not going to lose him the MVP. He's literally the second favorite to win it. Josh Allen last year in week 5, Jeff, threw for 180 yards in 3 hold on. Where's this interceptions here? Where is it? Oh, right here. 280 yards, 2 interceptions versus the Colts and 0 touchdowns. Was that a bad week for him? And then the week before that versus Miami, 1 interception. He literally had a 3-week stretch like he just did here. And then even before that, the Baltimore Ravens, they lost 35-10 in week 4. They lost 23-20 on the road in the Texans. And guess what I remember? He was 9 for 30 versus the Houston Texans in week 5. Do you know what the narrative was after week 5 with Josh Allen? There's no way he can win MVP. He can't do it. He doesn't know, he's not going to. Yeah, and it was just same narrative as right now versus the Patriots and whoever in the Falcons. It was literally the same time.
Did they win that game or lose that game?
They lost both of those games last year, back-to-back, Ravens, Texans, and everyone was saying Josh Allen can't win MVP. 2 bad performances. He looks terrible in those games. Guess what that was after? That was after week 5. And then guess what he did? He goes on a tear the rest of the year. They win, let me see, how many straight games? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 straight games. 8 straight games. And he performs at a high level. There are guys in this league who can afford to have bad weeks and a stretch of bad football, and they are just that good to where they can go out there and still win MVP. Josh Allen is one of them. Patrick Mahomes is one of them. It is what it is. Baker is not one of them. Baker has been perfect this year. He has to do that, in my opinion, a continued stretch, a period. If Baker has a 5-interception game here coming up,
well, yeah,
his stock's going to drop quick. If Josh Allen has a 5-interception game or a 5-turnover game, his stock's going to drop a little bit.
See, and that I hate that.
Which again, you can hate it.
Dude,
we're in the media. There's things that we hate that are just true.
I like I said, I don't think the MVP award will be locked up if Baker wins, but it's gonna help him if you beat the Lions.
Yeah,
at home.
It's a good look. He's got to build that resume, dude. He's got to build it up. It was the same with Goff last year. It's the same with Goff this year.
Now I will say you want to talk some college football today.
Yeah, I was going to message you on the side and say we better not skip college football today.
Well, James Franklin was fired from Penn State, and he actually has one of the best agents of all time. He had negotiated in his contract that if he gets hired anywhere or gets a job, he has to make at least $8.5 million, or they cover the rest of it. So I don't know who his agent is, but we need to look into who his agent is.
Yeah.
That dude might have one of the greatest agents in sports.
And he gets paid $50 million. I heard a lot of people talk about it throughout this week when this happened. The fact that just in college football or most college sports, if you suck at your job, like James Franklin, I would say sucks, but not the best at his job, you get fired. That man just got paid $50 million, Jeff, to retire, or not to retire, to get fired.
Walk away. Yeah. Literally.
And just be like, I don't have to. Like, they paid him $50 million to not do his job. Do you know how incredible that has to, the feeling that? That has to be like that's like winning the lottery, essentially. Like, hey, I don't have to work. They're paying me $50 million to not work. That's insane.
Yeah, I mean that's $50 million. It's the second largest coaching buyout in college football history.
Is that behind who's that behind? I wonder who that's behind.
And the mitigation clause he has in his contract requires him to diligently search for another job with his future earnings offsetting Penn State's buyout payments. If he lands a comparable or higher paying position, Penn State would not have to pay the full amount. So if he doesn't, they do. So if I'm James Franklin, you can always be like, pay me less. Yeah, or just go to a place and be like, give me less money. Because I'm I was thinking for James Franklin, before we get on like replacements for James Franklin, I think James Franklin's going to go to like, and this is just, I think James Franklin goes to like a mid-tier SEC school and tries to bring them up. And I don't know, I'm trying to think of like, let me bring up the SEC and we could talk about it. But do you see what I'm saying? Because he doesn't need to get paid a lot. So like the school doesn't have to sit there and fork a million things off of him, 50 million from him. But think about like I don't know. Kentucky's 2-3 right now. Arkansas's 2-4, who just fired their coach. You see what I'm saying? Like one of those teams be like, hey, come over here and help our program out. They already called Marcus Freeman. Did you see that?
Who did?
Penn State.
Okay.
Or they at least reached out.
Smart. I actually heard a thing today. I was listening to our guy Brandon from Barcelona, and he actually brought up a very good point. If you're Penn State, he brought actually such a good point up, and I didn't think about this until this morning because I was like, there's no way some of these big coaches would just pick up where they're at and leave because I heard Lane Kiffin's name thrown out there for Penn State. But he brought up a good point, Jeff. He said, if you're Penn State, you might as well, like a fishing analogy, throw the net out there in the whole country. You call every single coach at you call Ryan Day, you call everyone, you throw the net out there, and most of them probably won't pick up, but you just throw the net out there to see who comes up in the net. And there might be someone that they don't expect that is like, because if you think like Brian Kelly at Notre Dame, LSU, just a couple years ago, just being like, hey, Brian, and no one thought Brian Kelly would leave Notre Dame ever. But what did they do? They tried. They got Brian Kelly.
Go call.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Well, you know what? Go call Uncle Kurt from Indiana.
Yeah. Who do you think? Take out Kurt Signetti. Take out those guys. The big. Who do you think a big major
Campbell.
coach? Take Matt Campbell. Not. I'm talking about like major coaches, like Dabo's, like those types of coaches. Do you think there's like a major coach out there that if they threw the net out there, that would actually you would be like, people would be shocked to hear. I think Lane Kiffin. That's my kind of just side note.
Lane Kiffin would be
he likes to move around a lot too.
Yeah, and that would be a hell of a hire by them. I mean, quarterback. They what they need is, I mean, that's what the Big Ten is right now. Is you see it. You need a guy who can build a culture, but also someone who can. I mean, you see what Dan Lanning's doing with Oregon. You need a culture builder, but someone that can recruit. Lane Kiffin can do all that. Like Lane Kiffin's that dude's an all-in-one package. Offensive mind, quarterback whisperer, recruiting,
culture guy.
Like that's a dude.
Just interested if there's going to be like a out of the nowhere.
Yeah,
major
I think it would
coach
be,
that just like picks up and every like the Brian Kelly thing where no one expected it. I wonder if that's going to happen here because I think there are names like Matt Rule, obviously Kurt Signetti.
Matt Rule's out there,
like those are names that I think no matter what are going to be interviewing for it. I think those guys that's a move up for them. But I'm talking about like a lateral move or a move down. Like I'm interested if that happens.
Yeah, Lane would be because Lane's from he's from New England. He was born in Nebraska. He's been all around the country, but he's let me see. I think he has ties to kind of not the area, I don't think specifically, but he has a little NFL experience. He's with Bama, obviously, but he's been all around. I wonder if he would have any interest in doing something like that. That'd be interesting there. He's been in he's never been in the Big Ten though.
No, he hasn't. He's an SEC guy.
Yeah.
If I had to guess, I'm just going to throw it out there. This is my if I had to put a lock in, put a bet in on who gets it, I think it's going to end up being Matt Rule. And it sounded like, from what I was listening to this morning, that there was a chance that Penn State made this move with a thought process that Matt Rule is their guy. Because he played at Penn State. He played college at Penn State. He coached there for, I think, right out of college a little bit as well. So Matt Rule is a Penn State. He's a Penn State guy through and through. That's his alma mater. So that feels like it. Like for him, a guy who's coached at Baylor, who's coached all around. What was he at Temple? Like he's coached college football. That's probably like his end. Like Penn State's like that's the peak for him, I bet.
I think a sleeper could be. I really do think a sleeper could still be like a Matt Campbell type.
I think so too. Yeah,
because he went to Pitt. That's where he started his college career. He's from Ohio, but he went to Pitt. I know he doesn't have as much ties as Matt Rule, but that's kind of a guy's 45 years old. They probably want like a Matt Rule, Matt Campbell, where they're like in their 40s. You can be there for a while.
I think Cignetti is going to have a chance. I think he's going to have a chance, though. I think
they can get like a good 10 years out of him, probably like 8 to 10 years of he's 60 in his 60s.
Yeah,
but that'll be.
If I was Penn State, I would throw a bag at Curt Cignetti.
Oh, dude,
he's such a good coach.
I was listening to Tom Pelissero today. He was on Rich Eisen. He said he wouldn't be shocked if he gets NFL calls.
Yeah, he's a great head coach, and he's really not just like football. He's just a good culture guy. Like he's just a good dude. And the crazy thing about Cignetti, Jeff, like Indiana. Have you ever heard of a year that Indiana's actually been good? Ever?
No.
I don't think Indiana's been good once in our lifetime, and maybe in like 6 lifetimes. They before Cignetti got there. Hold on, let me look this up. Indiana football record by year. I think he's done one of the most incredible jobs with any college football program I've ever seen. 6-0, 11-2. Before that, they haven't won a double digit. They haven't had a double digit win season, Jeff. Ever. And Curt Cignetti in year 1 came in Indiana and had a double digit win season. That's nuts, dude. That's nuts. This guy's different, man.
Hey, Kalen DeBoer, JT says, feels like a Midwest Penn State kind of guy. I mean, I don't know what's going on.
He's not leaving Bama.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like they're just kind of figuring it out right now.
Yeah.
I
don't think he would leave. But I think it's going to end up being either Matt Rule or Curt Cignetti.
And I mean, this college football season has just been really odd. Like, I think in general, I think what we're seeing now this year, it's been happening the last couple of years, but I think NIL, the transfer portal, you're starting to see kind of college football. I don't want to say like completely even out, but you're seeing it's just been weird. Like usually, typically on a year-to-year basis, you kind of know what you're expecting from a lot of teams. Dude, you're getting like random upsets. You're getting teams inconsistencies with different teams because guys are bringing in so many new players that teams aren't like, they're kind of up, they're down, they're up, they're down because guys are transferring and then playing and they're like patching together a roster. It's just been weird. And I think that the Heisman race has been weird. I think, the college football, just the rankings in general have been weird. I mean, even like top 10 teams, you're like, if they face a top 20 team, you're like, are they really that much better? I mean, I don't know. Seeing teams lose to teams that are like significantly lower ranked. I mean, it's just all I look at is like the Ohio States of the world, Oregon, like they're playing really good. Yeah, but it's just been weird. Yeah, even Oregon is proving they're not unbeatable. Like it seems like Ohio State's the only one hanging in there. So it's been weird, I think, overall. Like the Heisman race has been the most weird. I mean, I don't.
Yeah, I mean, I just think college football as a whole right now, it's wide open. Klotz keeps telling me there's only 2 teams, Miami and Ohio State. I don't even believe that, to be honest. Klotz is probably watching. I still think Ohio State hasn't played anyone yet. That's it. Like I don't think these teams are once they actually play each other in the college football playoffs. I think it's going to be like I might throw some bets on for like the 12th or the 10th team in the college football playoff ranked to win the national championship, just based off of like anything could happen. Like no one knows, dude. And you know what's crazy too is like some of these teams, like no one knows. I mean, think about like a team like Virginia, who's never been good, and with NIL, with the transfer portal, they can just go out there and get. Boom, they're good. Georgia Tech, When like Georgia Tech's a top 25 team. Like there are just teams where you're like, what's going on? Like, and I think it's just like with the transfer portal, with NIL, they're able to kind of go through that process. And some of these teams who have never had an opportunity to win, Jeff, are finally doing it. So you never, and it's week by week basis too. It really is. Like I think like Vanderbilt, like Vandy's been like the laughing stock of the SEC forever. My whole life, they're 17th in the country right now, and it's just it's something, man. It really is. I don't know who's. I'll tell you what. No, I hope Klotz is watching. Ohio State's not going to win the national championship, but I don't know who's going to. I hope it's like a Texas Tech, or I hope, you know what I mean. I hope it's like a team like that. Indiana. I hope one of those types of teams wins it.
Because you have like Miami. Like Miami's the number 2 ranked team in the country. Indiana's 3rd, obviously, but you have like all these teams. Texas Tech, you mentioned, they're 7th. You know, Tennessee now, like they're in the top 11.
And Tennessee lost their quarterback, but what do? They said, "Give me in the portal. We'll take someone."
Yeah. Georgia
just go
Tech's
get someone.
undefeated. Like Georgia Tech's a top 12 team. Like BYU's undefeated. They're top 15. It's like, dude, South Florida's top 20. I mean, USC's below South Florida. You know, and it's I don't know. It's just Texas has actually been bad. Like that was the team everyone had. That was like the bookend team. I mean, they had a pretty good win this weekend, but still, like they haven't looked great.
Texas is still kind of alive, to be honest.
Yeah, no, they are. They beat Oklahoma, and that was a good win. It was a great win.
Yeah,
but they're weird too. Like
if they could go on a run here, if they went out.
I mean, they lost to Florida, which was tough, but yeah, they have Kentucky, Mississippi State, Vanderbilt, Georgia, Arkansas, and Texas A&M. Like they still could. And Arch actually looked decent in that game against Oklahoma. So
yeah, Texas has had a tough schedule, to be honest. Their schedule's crazy. Ohio State, Oklahoma, Florida, Vandy, Georgia.
Mark D'Antonio, by the way, bringing him back
to where? Michigan State. People want him.
Yeah, probably. I mean, Mark is
Michigan State is in shambles.
I know.
Shambles. You know what's the crazy thing is? As a Michigan fan, it's like, okay, we did feel like, all right, there's a chance to make the college football playoffs. Obviously, realistic. You're like, it's a little bit of a long shot with a freshman quarterback. Like you're going to have an opportunity to do it, and obviously they're probably not going to. It's still still a chance, but far stretched. Remember the doc coming on Wednesdays being like, we're going to a bowl game. We'll just watch this year. Like they're turning this thing around. They just got rolled by UCLA, Jeff. They keep getting rolled.
Yeah.
I think you got to get rid of everyone. You got to clean house. Get them all out.
Yeah, and I think he did come out and even admit that. Like, I think he even admitted that he knows the pressure's kind of on. I just saw something recently that he kind of, he's very self-aware of like, yeah, this could end pretty quick. He said, quote, he said he knows the clock is ticking on his Michigan State football team in his tenure.
He said that?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
He said he knows the pressure, essentially. Like he was talking about that, I believe. Like kind of
we actually talked about it with your pops about I told him, I said, hey, if Michigan State's head coach doesn't make a bowl game, he's probably out. And he was shocked. He was like, what do you mean? It's his second year. Don't you need to get his guys in anymore? And like, I don't think a lot of people realize in today's college football, it's like not getting your guys. You have 1 year to get your guys in because you have the portal. And like, it's no longer like, hey, just sit back and let this thing happen for 4 years. It's now a quick turnaround. We used to talk about that all the time. I think actually me, you, and Adam talking about college football, how like you do have to give them 2 or 3 years to kind of turn that program around, give them a little time. It's not like that anymore.
Yeah, it's not exactly like it used to be with college football. I mean, if you have a school with a lot of resources, you should be able to turn it around within 2 years. I mean, you should be pretty much back. I mean, look at Oregon. Oregon lost pretty much everything, and they get a new running back, new quarterback, new defensive lineman, and they're back. Like, they lost, but still they're still winning some games. I mean, you can go poach guys from different rosters and figure it out.
Yeah.
Even the schools that have a ton of turnaround still figure it out somehow.
How are these teams? Like the crazy thing to me is like, how are some of these teams every single season top 10, like Ohio State, Oregon, Penn State, even though they don't win, Bama, Georgia, like these teams are constantly top 10 teams. How can a Michigan State just not put a bowl game together?
Oh, by the way, UCLA's OC looks like Will Birchfield, dude, and he's out
he
here.
Does. You got to tell Will that tomorrow. You bring that up.
Yeah, it looks exactly like Will Birchfield. Shout out to Will Birchfield, but this guy is insane.
It's going nuts, dude. They've won like since he's taken over the offense. They just aren't. They're incredible. If I'm UCLA, I hire him as our head coach.
No, that dude is.
You don't let him leave that room.
He played quarterback in 2015 for him, so he's not even that old. He's like 30.
If UCLA lets that guy leave and he ends up putting another program and bringing up another program or having success somewhere else, and they didn't just offer him in-house, it's a bad look. That's a tough look.
That dude's he's that guy, dude. I think he's an assistant head coach, right? I think he is. I think they gave him that because that dude's gonna get offers. I mean, to be head coach somewhere.
Better be at UCLA.
Yeah, that would be a great job for him.
Better be.
Shout out to Eric Lynn, man. Eric Lynn says, "Love you, Jeff. Glad to see you're providing quality content. I have quality sense. Woodward." Shout out to you, Eric. Appreciate you for watching, bro. Appreciate that. Lucas, you're right. Nico, he's doing some special things with Nico, man. The last couple of games, Nico's played well. The first 3 games, even. But then a couple games he's played really, really well. So
Neuheisel wasn't calling plays the first few games.
Neuheisel, exactly. He's doing some special things. All right, we got our power rankings to get into. By the way, before we move on, can I just ask you? Wait, what were you gonna say?
I just want to hold on one sec. Never mind. Ohio State plays literally no one on their schedule. Ohio State has 2 ranked games. One of them's Illinois, and one's Texas, who probably isn't ranked, and Illinois might not be ranked as well. I think Ohio State might go this whole season without playing a ranked opponent, technically.
Well,
they're going to get smacked, in, like Freddie Felt just put in there. They're going to get smacked in the Big Ten championship game or in the college football playoffs. They haven't played. They don't play anyone all year. No one.
Yeah, before the season, that schedule looked different. I mean, you had Texas, they beat. Illinois, they beat.
But Texas, it's like that's not Texas.
Yeah, I mean, obviously.
And they almost lost, too. It was like a close game. And they put like 14 points up. And then Illinois, Jeff, me and you saw Illinois lose by 60 to Indiana. 60. They only beat Illinois by 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, they got Wisconsin, Penn State.
I think people are just, I think Ohio State. Yeah. I think Ohio State's just playing against a bunch of bums, and they're like, you got guys like Lukas Klotz, like, that's the best defense of all time. It's like, dude, they played Grambling and held them to 0.
Hey, by the way, Klotz, Orville Reese, yeah, he's good. All right. He sends you these clips of Orville Reese, linebacker.
Wait until they play Indiana, or wait until they have to play, I don't know, Miami, Georgia, Bama. It's over for them. They're done. You can't go all season not play a real football team and then just all of a sudden.
Dude, you glazed Michigan when they played BGSU and almost lost.
Don't care. Don't care.
I don't care.
But we're talking about 2025. Ohio State has played. They have and they will play no one. At least for us, we played Ohio State and beat them.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
They don't play a top 25 team.
I get it. I think it's tough. Do you see how it's tough coming from a Michigan fan? You think
for sure, but it's like the obvious. It's the. But okay, we you can only listen. We at least played every year. Every year we at least played a good Penn State team, or we played a good Ohio. It was always Penn State and Ohio State. We at least had 2 games on the schedule that was like these are tough games. They don't have one. You can't say that was Texas, and you can't say it was Illinois.
Oh, that's funny.
You can't say it was either one.
Yeah,
so who is it then? Who's the quality victory on their schedule this season? And Michigan's not. We're not even ranked anymore.
Well, it depends. You said Texas might not be out of it if they only have 2 losses at the end of the year.
Yeah,
It might be
but
a better win. It might not
we
be a
saw
bad
Texas
win.
lose to Florida, who sucks too.
That's fair. Fair point. All right, let's get to these power rankings. You want me to go first, or you want to go first on this one? What do you?
Yeah, you can go. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Oh, wait a second. Oh, I pulled up the wrong ones. Okay, I have the right ones here. I was gonna say I saw the Broncos as like a top 5 team, or not top 5. I was like, no, okay, this ain't the right one.
I left the Broncos. I forgot about the Broncos.
Yeah, don't be too mad about that. I think I was thinking about it. The teams we had, I think
I struggled today. There's just too many.
I think we made
honestly, there's actually too many good teams in football right now. I feel like that's a great problem to have. That means we get a lot of good football.
Here's my top 10 teams. All right, let me talk to you for a second. All right,
here we go.
I think here's where I'm coming from with this, and I'll just tell you. All right,
can't handle my God.
And number 1, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, hottest team in football right now. Number 1 team in the NFC. They haven't proven that they're slowing down. They're 6-1. They're playing great football, and that's the same way and this is where I'm coming from with this list. All right. I think I got to start giving more credit. I hand up to teams that are just finding ways to win fucking games. All right. And the Colts are finding ways to do that. The Colts, to me, they're number 2 on week 7's power rankings. All right. Daniel Jones, Indiana Jones. Okay. They're figuring out ways to win games. And that's why I have the top 2 teams, the Colts and the Bucs. Could this change? Potentially. But as of week 7, I think the Colts, I'm going to go for it and give them love here. I think they're one of the best teams in the NFL right now, the way they're playing. Even in the ugly games, they're finding ways to win. So I'm going to get them up there for me at number 2. Number 3, here's the thing. Hear me out on this. All right. I know where people are going to say, well, Jeff, how do you have the Lions above the Chiefs? They just lost to them. I told myself when making this list, just me, how I'm doing my list, I'm not going to just factor in everything. I'm going to not make everything about head-to-head. I think the Chiefs went from a top 10 ranking to 4 with that win over the Lions. But I don't think now that they're 500, they're just better than the Lions. They still lost to the Jags. They still lost to the Chargers. Who else? They lost to another team. Who'd they lose to? They lost to the, hold on a second. Eagles. So they have 3 losses, yeah. Which the Eagles loss is pretty good. But Jags and the Chargers are tough. Hey, I mean, the Jags, I guess, is a good loss. But the Chargers, okay, whatever. But the Lions losses, Chiefs, Packers. So, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and give them the slight edge, even though they beat them head-to-head. But I'm not going to just jump the Chiefs over the Lions. I'm not doing it. I'm sorry. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it for the Bills-Patriots. The Patriots are 3 spots higher. Or, excuse me, the Bills are 3 spots higher still. I have the Bills at 5. Tough loss to the Falcons, but I still think they're a top 5 team. I still think they're good. I think there's just things they got to figure out. Number 6, the Eagles, they fall after losing to the Giants and 2 rookies, Cam Skattebo and Jackson Dart, which is that's a tough pill to swallow. And then Za'Darius retires in the same week. So definitely tough for them. But the Eagles, I think, still are a top 10 team. I still have them up there. I think they just got to fix what they're doing offensively. That offensive coordinator might be a bust already. I'm sorry. They might have to just get a new one. That dude, and he's an Italian, so shout out to him, but he might just stink. Number 7, I have the Rams on here. They beat the Baltimore Ravens 17-3. It wasn't a blowout by any means in terms of like high scoring, but they took care of the Ravens. Puka went down with an injury. And I still think the Rams are a top 10 team right now. I know they lost to the 49ers. They lost to the Eagles. But the Rams are really good still, in my opinion. And they're fine. They're coming off another win, whether it's ugly or pretty. It doesn't really matter. They won the game. And then number 8, I have the Patriots. I think the Patriots make this list. Patriots have earned it. I think the Patriots are going to go on a run here. Their schedule lightens up. They have some easier teams coming up. Like they could end up 6-2 in the next couple of weeks. So we'll see what happens there. But the Patriots look really good right now. The Steelers at number 9, and I know people are probably thinking, and this is actually, here's the thing. I don't have the Packers on here. They beat the Browns. The Packers to me, the Bengals, wasn't really as dominant of a win as I initially thought. I thought they looked good coming off a bye week, but Joe Flacco kind of hung in there too. I got to see a little more out of the Packers to put him back in here, in my opinion. And I think the Steelers, I just think as a roster, like their defense looks really good. I think their defense is not getting enough credit right now. And Aaron Rodgers looks actually decent, to be honest with you. He looks way better than he did with the Jets, which speaks more on what the Jets have done in general with quarterbacks. So, I think the Packers, you could argue. I think this back half of this list is kind of interchangeable. If you want to put the Packers at like 9 or 10, fine. I'm putting the Steelers here on this list. And then I have the Seahawks at 10. I have the Seahawks at 10. They beat the Jags. I think that's a good win. They played a close game with the Buccaneers, who are the number one team right now. I have to put the Seahawks on this list. So if your gripe is the Packers not being in there, I think that's fair. But they're probably right outside. They're probably at 11 for me, and you could probably interchange 9 to 11. I don't think it's bad. That's where I'm at.
I think at the end of the day, like the Packers are a better football team right now. And whether you want to admit it or not, because we're in Detroit in the NFC North, they're a better football team. They have one loss, and I know the tie versus the Cowboys is something, but I would think like the Packers are better than the Seahawks, Steelers, Patriots, and you can argue with no Puka Nacua, potentially if the Packers and the Rams face off the Rams as well. So I think like take bias away with the NFC North, whatever. You do got to throw the Packers in your top 10. They're not a worse football team than 7, 8, 9, and 10. There's no chance. Now the Lions Chiefs thing, you got to put the Chiefs. And you can look at record and whatever you want. They did play head to head this week, and the Chiefs did. I get your reasoning and all of that. Now you could say, well, if they were healthy, just right now, power rankings are about like this week. Lions just straight up lost to the Chiefs. The Chiefs got the best of the Lions, beat them by 2 scores. It wasn't like it was like a field goal game, a close game. Chiefs completely outcoached the Lions. They completely outplayed the Lions. I know it was at home. You could blame the refs all you want. Right now, this week on October 14th, you have to take the Chiefs over the Lions as well, in my opinion.
Yeah, I disagree. I think the Lions are a better team right now. I think they lost to the Chiefs. They got outplayed by the Chiefs, but I think the Lions are still a better team. I get what you're saying. I think that. Yeah,
I mean, if they were a better team, they probably would have played a closer game than a 2-possession game.
What I think happened. See, it's my list is a week to week. What happened was the Chiefs from where they were last week significantly rose.
Yeah, no, this week they were a better football team than the Lions.
But I don't think one win. I don't think beating. It's like the Patriots. Like they beat the Bills, and I don't think they were on our list after that. They should have jumped to 6 then that week because they beat the Bills. Like it's just, I got to look at things a little. I think head to head matters, but I don't think it's everything. Just because you beat a team head to head doesn't mean you're immediately better than that team.
I mean, that week I think so. I mean, you prove it. You just went head to head.
That's your list. Like you can do your list however you want. I think it's part of it, but I don't think the head to head's everything. I think the Chiefs still have question marks with their team as a team.
And like Dexter said, well, so the Packers are ahead of the Lions with that logic. No, not at all. After week 1, I had the Packers ahead of the Lions because the Packers beat the Lions. And I can guarantee Jeff had the Packers above the Lions after week 1.
Yeah, but the Packers, to be fair,
head-to-head.
To your point, they've only lost 1 game.
But again, that was week 1, though. I'm not saying the Chiefs to Lions from the full season. I'm saying this week in week 6, they went head to head. Now, if we look in 4 weeks, they're still, just because the Chiefs beat the Lions and then in 4 weeks, the Lions could be playing better football in 4 weeks because they're healthier and they look better. I would put the Lions above the Chiefs in 4 weeks if the Lions are winning and they're healthy and that team is fully back. This isn't a projection. This is a, hey, what do they look like week 6? Week 6 right now, the Lions are a little beat up and they lost to the Chiefs team. And right now, if they played again this week, they probably would lose again because they're without Brian Branch and potentially Kirby and no Taylor Decker. And, they're down some pieces again this week. So like, if we're talking about our week 6 power rankings, like right now, the Lions aren't fully healthy and they're not at full capacity. So they're not better than the Chiefs right now. When they are fully healthy and at full capacity, I would take the Lions 10 times out of 10. But just right now, they're not. And it was proven on Sunday Night Football that they weren't.
So I guess, and that's how you rank your teams. That's fair. You factor in players. So why are the Bucs? That's why I don't have the Bucs 1. I don't look at injuries because if we're talking injuries, the Bucs should be 5 probably. I mean, they're missing half their wide receiver core. So
What do you mean? You do have
you're
the Bucs
saying
one.
health matters because you mentioned the Rams. I had the Rams, and you said,
Well, I think, and it's not just health. I think it's just it has to do with how that team's playing, how is the team playing? Like the Bucs right now, they're playing the best football in the NFL without a doubt. And they don't have players, which is I think that's even more of a factor. Like it's like wow, imagine when they get guys back.
The Rams are 4-2, and they might not have. You mentioned Puka not.
Yeah, no Puka, and yeah, that's why.
You see why that's you know what I'm saying? Like your point you made with the Bucs, they don't have wide receivers, but they're 6-1. The Rams are 4-2 with it, and now Puka's out. It's like I can't say, well, they don't have Puka. They're not top 10 anymore. Like you just got to look.
I just think there's other teams better than the Rams right now. That's all. I just think that. Can we look at my list? Honestly, I don't know why we're not throw mine up.
Well, you're okay. You started the argument. I don't know.
No, I'm talking to myself. I'm talking to myself. Yeah,
that's why I was just giving you points back. All right, here's your list. All right.
Guy was ready to fight me. I'll fight you.
No, I'm just defending my list. You call it out, I'm gonna defend it. You know.
Yeah. So I don't have the Rams in my top 10. I had them at 11. It was between the Seahawks and the Rams. I didn't know who to throw in there, and obviously the Puka Nacua injury kind of took a little factor in that. And I essentially based it off of as well with the Rams. I looked at the wins this week for the Rams and the Seahawks. That was my final kind of say. And the Seahawks did beat a team that I had at 5th last year or last week in my power rankings. Me and you both had the Jacksonville Jaguars in our top 5. And the Seattle Seahawks beat that team, and they knocked a team out of our top 5 in the power rankings. The Rams, they played the Ravens. We already know what the Ravens are. They played the Ravens with Cooper Rush. So I took a little bit there. I have the Bucs at number 1 though, Jeff, just like you. And then number 2, I have the Chiefs. I think the Lions last week were the best team in football. And I don't think it was close. I think we all felt like we were like the Detroit Lions were the best team, and the Chiefs ended up knocking them off. So I do have to give them credit, and I moved them up above the Lions at number 2, and I kept the Lions in the top 3. I still think the Lions are a top 5 football team. When they get healthy, I think this is the best team in football, the Detroit Lions, but they have to get healthy, and they have to go out there, and you can't lay an egg in primetime versus the Kansas City Chiefs. So the Chiefs should be above them. Number 4. Yeah, Nick P said, Booner, your list blows. Where's New England? New England's right there at number 7, Nick P. Just so you know. Number 4, I have the Colts. Jeff, I know you had them at 2. I'm still going to give them. I mean, I think having them in the top 5 is giving them credit. I've been a big Colts guy all year, and a Daniel Jones guy, thinking that he's going to kind of take control of that team, and he's done that. So I think they just keep winning, man. And I don't know if you've seen their schedule, Jeff. I think the Colts as well, just like the Patriots. Let me pull the Colts schedule up real quick. I think the Colts are about to have a little bit of a run here too. I think they're going to have an opportunity. They play the Chargers, which I think they can win that game. Then they play the Titans, the Steelers, the Falcons. Maybe not. They play some squads, and then they play the Chiefs. I take that back. I thought they had an easier schedule. Number 5, the Bills. Even though they lost, still top 5 team. And I think with Josh Allen, you should be in that conversation. It's the same thing with Mahomes. And typically it's like Lamar. Me and you had that conversation last year a lot with, like, if you have an elite quarterback, you're probably typically going to be up in that conversation, even if you're losing a little bit. Eagles at number 6, losing again to the Giants, which was a terrible loss. I kind of wanted to move the Eagles lower, Jeff. The Giants loss is tough. That's a tough look, no?
Yeah. I mean, but it's like it just depends. It's like kind of, I look at, like, for example, I try not to let those type of games define everything. Like the Eagle, I don't know. It's just how you define your list. It's just how it's your list. So if you think they should be lower, then you think they should be lower.
Yeah.
We probably have different philosophies. Clearly, we have different philosophies on some of these,
which is fair. I think it's fair. 7, I have the Patriots. Patriots is playing incredible, and Drake May's been playing at MVP level.
Yes, they are.
Mike Vrabel, one of the best coaches in the NFL. I still think it's insanity that the Titans fired Mike Vrabel ever. I don't think Mike Vrabel should ever be fired from a job because he's one of the best in the league. He's a top 10 head coach no matter what. And the fact he was without a job for a year is insane. 8, the Steelers. I'm just giving the Steelers credit. They just find ways to win, Jeff. This team is actually, and what's crazy about it is, like, they're actually fun to watch. Like with DK, Jalen Warren, Aaron Rodgers, the tight ends that they have all those different tight ends that they play. And then that defense is incredible. I love the Steelers team. I did keep the Packers at 9. Listen, if you have one loss, I don't know. It's they have one loss. Rams have two. You can make an argument. There's a couple other 2-loss teams as well. I don't know. I think it's just kind of subjective off of how you feel that week.
Yeah, I think 7-8 to like 11-12 is like because the Patriots have 2 losses, but they're higher. Like it's like you're kind of not that you're wrong. I'm just saying it just depends like your flavor. Like I don't know. It's just
I think it just depends on how you feel of that football team, and if I feel like this Packers team, they're a top 10 team. They are. Like if they played a lot of these teams in the back half, I would guess they're favored and they win the football game. But I have to put them on the back end. I need to see more out of this Packers team, to be honest. The defense looked incredible through 2 weeks, and then it just hasn't been like that since that Cowboys game. So I'm interested to see what they are. And then the Falcons, I just want to give the Falcons some credit, Jeff. I know last week, I don't think me or you had the Seahawks. I'm sorry, the Seahawks in that category, but that went over the Jags. We thought that me and you both had the Jags as top 5 teams last week, and they go in and beat the Jags like 20-10 or something, and they go handle business. Sam Darnold looks really good. JSN is a top 5 wide receiver in the NFL, if not questionably outside of Puka Nacua. You could argue he's the best wide receiver in the NFL right now, and they have a good defense as well too. So I like that. And the only team I left off, this is where I ran into the problem, is the Rams. I think the Rams are very, very good. But again, they have two losses. I believe the one to the 49ers. Who was the second loss again? To the Jags. No, Bucks and Jags. No.
What team you're talking about?
Hold on, I clicked on the wrong team. The Rams.
Oh, the Rams, Eagles.
49ers and Eagles. So they lost to a top 10 team, but then they lose Puka. I don't know how long. This Puka thing, by the way. Puka's the best wide receiver in the NFL. I want to see Puka Nacua. I wish this guy could play 17 games this year. He's not going to. I don't know what this injury is. ETN might know it more in the chat. I desperately want to see this guy play 17 games and see what he can do through 17 healthy games. Am I the only? Do you get that feeling? I want to see this guy play football for a full season, dude. I really do.
I've been telling, and I've been. You know how I feel about Puka. He's I think he's I've said before the season. I think he's top 3, 4. I mean, that's just where I put him. He's just. I don't think the ankle injury is bad. They said it's day to day. So
I hope not, because he seems to run into these injury issues. But I really want to see this guy play a full season. I want to see what he can do. But that's my top 10. I mean, it's all subjective.
Yeah, we got about 2 minutes left. So if you have any mailbag questions, drop them in. Drop them. Appreciate Jeremy for joining. By the way, that was a great segment.
It was.
Great.
I can't believe you have the Chiefs over there or behind the Lions, man.
Yeah, listen, that's just how I rank the teams. I think, Lions are number 1. They lose to, I think, a really good team. They drop 2 spots. Chiefs raise up. I look at it week to week. How I do my list is like there's your top 10 list, and then guys slide. It's like I don't look at it like I don't every week paste a new list. You know what I'm saying? Like I look at it like
I slide mine too, I guess, but
Chiefs to 4. Like that's just how I do it. Like that was a tough loss for the Lions, but that's why they dropped to 3. They fall a couple spots. Like still think the Lions are good. That's just how I do it. But
yeah, no, I kind of do it to a sense in there. That was just a kind of a one-off, because I think this Chiefs team, I just think they were off the top 10 list because. I mean, all along I thought they were a top 10 team. So them getting up that high isn't really. If it was a different team, I wouldn't do it. But it's the Chiefs at the end of the day.
Travis says, "What do you guys think the record will be this season?" I still have 12 wins. That's what I had before the year. So I'm not going to change yet. It's only 2 losses.
I'll probably go 12, 13. Yeah.
Shout out Eric. He says, how will the Lions fare with the injuries to the secondary? I think they will be fine with patchwork help until the bye to get healthy for the gauntlet of schedule going forward. I'm with you, Eric. And I mean, me and Booner, we talked about this earlier. Like the injuries on the secondary they're not season ending. So there's that. You'll get some guys back. Kendall Fuller, I think, is a really good signing. Meek and Kendall Fuller. Like you can kind of figure it out. It sucks Brian's suspended, but when you get him back after the bye, I think you'll patch it together. They'll be all right. I'm not too worried about it. It's going to sting Monday, but further than that, they'll be all right. They're going to get reinforcements. So appreciate you, ATN. This is a great show, fellas. Leave a like on the stream, by the way. Hit the like button. Support the fellas. We're almost at 15.2K. So I think we're like 13 away. So tell a friend. Buy some merchandise. officialctsports.com. Merch is live. You can get your FTP shirts before the Packers game later in the year. So order them now. Takes about a week to come in. So get your merchandise. Members, there is a code as well. So if you become a member, you can have access to a little bit of a discount on the website. So get your merchandise, hit the subscribe button. We'll catch you guys tomorrow for the doc, 8 p.m. The DOC, John Macron's joining. But until then, we will catch you all. Peace.